and I'm also a fellow of this Chartered Institute of Accountants. I'm a chartered accountant.
Time to rephrase. It looks like you and I are the students. They are the teachers. We always want more. We're expecting the guy to do so much more. And it's pressure for the guys at work. You're wondering, okay, should I do some other things just to make money, to make this woman happy? I think our expectation sometimes for Nigerian women is a bit high.
You're right.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think those days guys will always get married once they left school.
Just wondering, you know, what if I go into this one? What if he breaks my heart just one more time? So, festivities and safety and thinking of having first aid with you. The truth is, people are worried right now about how much rice costs, what is transportation going to be like, have you bought your flight tickets, prices are going up. We can almost say and get away with it that almost no one, or maybe 1% of the people are thinking about safety and health. In other climes, people are already getting flu shots to prevent whatever could happen with the season. But it rarely happens around us. So talk to us. What should we be thinking about at this time as we go into the festivity in terms of first aids and safety and things that we should, you know, carry along with us when we travel, beyond sending people a bag of rice and all that goes with it?
Yes. Well, you said it already. Beyond food and clothing and the party and all the alcohol that we'll consume during this beautiful festive season, our health is actually supposed to be number one. Okay. Our health is supposed to be number one. Because believe it or not, people fall ill during the festive period, even more so because of what they imbibe. A lot of people have not tasted one or two things before and they say, oh, let me just taste it. And then you end up in the hospital. You don't want that to happen to you. So you need to be prepared from your head to your toe. Okay? So now
you actually look really prepared, though.
Yes, I am prepared. I am prepared because we have been talking about making sure that our listening audience, our watching audience get the best from us. That is what we're going to give them today, the best from the three of us. Okay?
Great. Angelica, you want to chip in something before we go and see all of this? There's a lot on the table today. So we're going to dig into each one of them and see what they would do for us during this holiday period. But let's hear from you first.
Well, I think we're all on the same page. This is festive period, and we're usually all very excited at this time. I know sometimes when you're just too happy, you find yourself doing things in excess, and then you tend to don't even remember there are limits to things you do because you're just too happy. So that is why I'm actually here to remind us that there's always a need to exercise caution.
Yes.
And that we should not throw caution to the wind while we are enjoying during the Christmas period. So
I have a feeling there are some people that will say, who send these people when we are done today? But let's still do it anyways. They will thank us later.
Yes.
So what are the things we should look out for first aid and health-wise during this festive season?
Every home should have a first aid box.
Okay.
But unfortunately, not a lot of homes have first aid boxes in their homes.
Am I guilty?
And you do not even have to have the big one with a big green
cross sign on it.
Big green collar, and then the red cross sign on it that says first aid. You don't even have to have that. Usually when we buy things come in boxes, in plastic containers and all of that.
Okay, I have a first aid box.
You can use one of those, recycle one of those into a first aid box.
Convenient container is okay.
Exactly.
That can close.
Yeah, exactly. That can close properly because you do not want your kids to access it. And all of that, and you do not want it to be exposed to the elements because a lot of medications are stored in a cool, dry place, right? Okay. Now, when you get this box or this bucket, something that is convenient and easy to carry, what are the things that you need to put in there that will serve as a first aid material when the need arises? Of course, you have your number one on that place, on that box or in that box, the analgesics.
Yeah.
Okay. Something to relieve pain
relievers.
And fever. Pain and fever, because this is a malaria climb, right? And so the first sign of malaria is when you start having chills and rigors and fever, and then you want to bring that fever down. So the first thing that should go into that first aid box is your analgesic, your anti-malaria, the one that works for the family, there's no family that does not know the anti-malaria that works for them specifically, because there are lots and lots of anti-malarias in the market. But for a specific family, there's a specific one that works for you, irrespective of the first line of choice for anti-malaria.
Where does the place of having a test before you take medication comes in with the having anti-malaria drugs, in your first aid box?
Remember, we have the rapid test kits. They're easily available now.
I told you I'm the student on set today.
You see, the thing is this.
Let's go.
You're talking of having to test before you
Before
do that.
treatment, yeah.
That is actually the World Health Standard now. We in Nigeria were used to just
Treating.
you have
The moment you have
a
any
symptom, you
yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
You understand? So more often than not, you're treating probable cases. That is, according to World Health Standard, we should be treating cases that have been properly defined. And for you to properly define that you have malaria, it means it has to be confirmed by a medical or laboratory test. That is only the time you're now allowed to treat. The reason is this. Malaria really is endemic in Nigeria, really. By being endemic, we are saying it has come to the level it has come to stay with us. We have to accept it. We know it is.
I refuse to accept it.
It's just malaria.
This is a
Because
malaria
it's so
zone.
rampant, it's
It's a malaria
frequent, it's
zone.
there every time. So you discover that because of our bad health practices, that we treat malaria without testing. More often than not, you just have a fever. It's not actually malaria. There's no plasmodium parasite in your bloodstream. So when you continue to treat, and there's no parasite there, what we're doing is that we're increasing the resistance of the parasite to the drugs. That's why you have noticed over time, irrespective of the fact that they say chloroquine is not healthy, but we have had to change. And we're using other products like combination therapy, artemether and co. And that is because that's what works better. Because the malaria parasites have developed resistance. And that's because we've been treating when there was no malaria. So they have gotten so used to it, and there's a need to change the drugs.
Great.
So that is where it is important to have to test
First.
before you treat the
And
malaria.
Doc was just telling us there's actually
Rapid test kits.
rapid
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
can
what
go,
it is for.
That
Yeah.
can go into your first aid
into your
kit
first
too.
aid box. You
Wonderful.
don't need to go to the lab to check.
Yes, because part of the reason, all of the points that she made are very valid, but part of the reason why people do not bother to go to the hospital and go through the process of getting a card, seeing a nurse, getting your vital signs taken, seeing a doctor, going to the lab, waiting for the results, paying all the monies along the way for them to tell you at the end of the day that, yes, you have malaria, take this anti-malaria, when you could have gone to the pharmacy and bought a 500 naira medication or 300 naira medication and treated yourself over the course of 2-3 days and gotten better. That's part of the reason why people do not bother to test, go to check if it is actually malaria or not.
But then if they are
They
aware
know-
of the risk, then it's
They know,
worth
they
going
know
through
that
the
if
process.
they take this anti-malaria, they take this analgesic, they'll get better. So why am I going to waste my time?
But then I'm treating a sickness I don't have.
Exactly. But guess what now? They may not have the sickness, but when they take the anti-malaria and the analgesic, they get better and they continue with their life. But that is the wrong pathway to follow. That is why WHO and all the relevant international donor agencies and health agencies are telling you, do not do that.
Great.
Because that is a problem that we're having now with fighting tuberculosis. We have the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis that is killing millions
Extreme,
by the day.
yes.
So that is why we need to stop. But Nigeria is a malaria endemic zone because we have what's it called, the
Anopheles.
the female Anopheles mosquito that
In
causes
Nigeria.
the malaria. So we need to be very, very careful. So now in that first aid box that we're talking about, after your analgesic gets in there and your anti-malaria gets in there, please go to any pharmacy store. They have the rapid test kit. It's unfortunate that I don't have it on display today. It's a little thing, just like the size of this forefinger,
Yes.
that you just put in there. And it's very easy to do the test. You prick your finger, you drop the blood there, it passes from one chamber to the other. It says positive or negative, meaning
You put the
have to
test,
prick
you
your
put the
fingers.
test liquid there.
so it's very, very easy. It just comes in a box like this. Everything that you need to do is there. The instruction manual, everything is there. What else goes in your first aid box? Plaster, what we call the band-aid. In Nigeria, we call it the plaster. It goes in there for cuts and bruises. When children are running up and down, Mommy, where's the fried chicken? And then they trip over something that they have left there in the first place, and then they bruise their knee or something. Mommy, quickly, before you put the band-aid, you need the cotton wool, and you need the methylated spirits.
The methylated
to clean the
spirits.
area, to swab the area, to make sure you do not band-aid, bacteria back into the poor child's
We
body
should have iodine
and
too.
cause the wound to become inflamed, right? Now, if you do not like iodine, you can use Povidone.
Yes.
It's milder. than iodine.
But it has the same,
Same
result.
effects.
Yes, disinfecting
they're
effects.
basically antiseptics.
To
And
stop
then-
spread of infection.
Exactly. All right. Now you can also put gauze in there.
What's gauze?
Gauze is like a woolen, like a cotton,
Net. It's a woolen net.
A cottony net.
Like that net, yes. So it allows the wound to breathe.
You know,
Okay.
it's not as occlusive as the band-aid, right? So you put it in there.
Or plaster.
Yes.
What is
And then-
occlusive?
Covering.
You know, yeah,
Doesn't-
because
They are listening to
they are
you. They
laymen
don't know
like
what is
us.
occlusive.
It doesn't cover completely without the ability to breathe.
This
So that
allows
air can
air.
pass through.
Yes, and help the
Yes.
healing process.
Okay.
Good. Now, you don't forget the scissors. Because if you have the band-aid in there, you have the gauze in there, you're going to need the scissors
To cut it.
Through so that you can take the quantity that you want to do the job at hand that you want. Now, something else that the gauze does, something very fantastic that the gauze does is, if peradventure somebody has a fracture, right? And you do not want to start looking for a cloth to tear and use it to wrap up the fracture with a splint. A splint is any good, clean wood. 2 pieces of wood that you can
It's
use.
rigid.
You know,
So,
that you can
that
use
the
to put,
person
Like
is not,
straight,
it's not
yes.
moving.
you can use to put on both sides of the fractured arm or leg. You put one of the splints here, it's called the splint, a wood here, another wood here. You can
Then
use
you
the
wrap.
gauze to bind it in place before you take the person to the hospital, because you do not want that fracture to
Moving
become
around.
worse and involve the nerves and the arteries, okay?
Yeah.
So that there's no paralysis going
Wow.
on afterwards.
Okay.
That goes into the first aid kit as well. Now, if you want to take it one step further, you can have, if there's a medical personnel in that family, maybe a doctor or a nurse, you can have your infusion in the first aid kit.
The what?
What's
Your
infusion?
Infusion is the drip. That they
That's
give
what
you
we
in the
call it here.
hospital.
Okay. Drip.
You have the drip that they give you in the hospital. You have the saline, the one that has salt in there, and the one that has sugar in there. And then you have the one that really, really treats, dehydration when somebody has been
But
having
that's,
Like an
only,
ORT.
that's
diarrhea.
only if you have a medical person in the
That's
Yeah,
an
family.
that's
ORT,
how I
you mean?
qualified it before
Yes,
I started.
yes.
So you have the Ringer's lactate in there or the Hartmann solution in there also. Now, if you do not have a medical personnel, please do not put any of these that I've mentioned, the infusion, the drip, right? Now, what you put instead is the ORS that they prepare so beautifully now. And it's very easy, it's very common, it's very cheap in the supermarkets or in the pharmacies.
ORS? You
So you
haven't
have
told
the
them.
oral rehydration salt, right? The oral rehydration salt, which we call the salt sugar solution. Okay, the salt sugar salts, or the salt sugar solvents, or that they have
Solution.
Yeah.
Because before it's a solution, you have to put it in water before it becomes a solution. Otherwise,
Okay.
it's a solvent first. They're just
okay.
powdery.
Sachet.
Comes in a
It
sachet.
comes in a sachet and it's powdery, right? So you have that, and you put it in there. And another thing comes with it. It comes with tablets of zinc tablets. That comes with the ORS. Remember we say it's a salt sugar solution?
Yeah.
So it's in there together. The instruction leaflets are always there. So you be sure to mix it the way they have asked you to mix it. 600 to 1 liter.
And that's very important
One-
because panic can make people forget all
Exactly.
these
Be
things
sure.
sometimes, and you just
Be sure,
want to
because
put
you're
it
trying
in
to
water and
replenish
use it,
the
right?
electrolytes that have been lost from vomiting and diarrhea. So you need to put it and mix it in the right proportion. And remember that it expires after 24 hours.
That's right.
And you must put
Once
it in
it's
a
mixed,
sealed,
right?
Yes, you must put it in a sealed container, okay? Now, what else do we need in there? Something else that can go in there is a pregnancy kit. For some women who are hoping that, they'll be pregnant that Christmas. There's one that is right here. This one, you do not need to bleed yourself. This is just your urine. That's a pregnancy test kit. You open it.
Uh-oh.
It's so easy to use.
Who's testing?
This
Now
can also
that
go.
you've opened it.
Yes, this can also go. So you just put your, see the way it comes? It's fabulous. It actually serves 2 purposes. It serves 2 purposes. That's the test strip right there. The moment you put your urine in there, it shows you whether you're pregnant or not. 2 positive signs. And guess what else you can use this for? As we are traveling this festive period, when you have to stop to pee, a lot of people don't like to go to the public toilets that we have in Nigeria because, my goodness, have you seen them? Have you
Sometimes.
seen
Do we
them?
have public toilets, please?
Oh, yes, we do
Well,
have.
when you stop
We
in
do have in some
motor
areas.
motor parks, if you're
Yes.
traveling by
Okay.
road, you can
do
find
have in some
but,
areas. Yes, so now, when you pee into this, immediately it tells you whether you're pregnant or not. But it has another purpose. You see the way it is shaped. You pull down your underwear when you go to that public toilet that, of course, you do not want to sit on the WC.
You're speaking to women now specifically.
Yes,
right?
this is for women. Already men have something that look like this. So you don't have to, this is not for
You
the
don't
men.
need aid.
You don't need aid for this particular procedure. So you pull down your underpants and you put this the way you put your sanitary towel, as if you want to sit it down there and put on your pants. But instead you pee right in here and it comes out here into the toilet as if you're a man. You're standing over the WC.
Wow.
You're standing over the WC and you're
Yeah.
peeing right there with this. So two purposes. It tells you if you're pregnant or not, and you can use it to avoid toilet infection.
Infection.
Something very mischievous just came to
Okay,
mind.
so that is for this one.
I mean,
Pregnancy test.
if a young girl that is not looking for pregnancy test results wants to urinate with this, and all of a sudden
Then I now discover that
he
something is there.
realizes that something is changing color. That Christmas has...
Your Christmas, the Christmas is over for you that year. Although it may be good
Are you
news.
sure you should not be celebrating in
Although
that
it may be good
condition?
news. It may
That's
be
by
good
the
news.
way.
It may be good news. Okay, now back to the hygiene aspects. If you do not want to squat, as we normally do, and you have used that beautiful pregnancy test kit to urinate and then to check if you're pregnant, these are toilet seats covers.
Oh.
You see how easy, how it comes? You just put it in your bag.
Very portable.
Very
Yeah.
portable, very handy. So you cover your toilet seats like that.
Okay.
I'm sure some of you have seen
Open
this
it up.
on
Yeah.
airplanes,
So, so
On
you
airplanes,
tear off that middle
public toilets. You see the way it's shaped like a WC. So this part comes off
like that.
and it's flushable. It doesn't
Oh, it
clog.
is?
Yes. It doesn't clog the
Okay.
toilet. You
Okay.
see?
So you just put it
You
round
put
the
it around the
seats.
seats. Everything is covered. Nothing harms you.
Okay, can I ask a question?
So you sit down there, you do your business, especially when you want to do number 2. Okay, so you do your business, you clean up, you stand up. Look, paper, flushable. It will not clog the toilet. So you do your business, you gently slide it into that toilet, you flush, and you walk away.
Or
Okay.
a dustbin.
There's something I do sometimes.
Or you can put it in
is
the
that-
dustbin. A lot of people may not want to touch it after sitting on it, especially if the toilet seat is dirty in the first place. So
Okay.
you just
Okay.
put it in there, flush, and walk away.
There's something...
Right, before I forget, sweetheart,
Yeah.
don't forget to put sanitizer in your first aid kit. Hand sanitizer
You just met me
in your
halfway.
first aid kit. Although methylated spirit can also be used as a sanitizer because
Okay.
it's 100% alcohol.
That's what I was going to ask you. What I do, if you check my bag now, you find a small
Oh, I always
pack
carry one.
of sanitizer.
Yes.
And sometimes if I happen to go to a restroom that I'm not comfortable with, I would use tissue and clean.
Oh yes, you should do that.
I would clean
Everybody
before I
should do
use.
that.
So if I don't have this, that can suffice.
Everybody
but I think
should do
this
that.
is very
Yes.
comfortable and easy.
And you know the
I should
sanitizers,
throw one in my bag
the
before we leave.
sanitizers, they come in different handy packs. They come in the packs where you can squeeze. You can do like that.
Yeah.
The sanitizers come like that. So you can also get that particular one to use on your toilets. Okay? Now, we're talking about standing to pee, putting the, what's it called now? The toilet seat cover on the toilet seat. We also talk about the wet wipes. Remember the wet wipes? You also put that in your hands and in your first aid pack.
Why do we need the wet wipes there?
Is it to
Now,
clean?
the wet wipes is actually magical, the wet wipes. If you're eating and you stain your dress, you will not believe what that little wet wipe that you think is only for the baby's bum can do for your dress. You
Right.
take the wet wipe, it's already wet, you do that, and it disappears like magic.
Wow.
If that is not first aid, I don't know what it is.
Okay, that's
And so
first
you
aid
also-
for your clothes.
For
Yeah.
for your body too. If you do not
Yes.
have sanitizer handy, the
No,
wet
I
wipe,
mean, you just mentioned wiping, cleaning my
dress.
dress.
Yes,
That's
it
first
can
aid
actually
for my
if you do not
clothes.
have
and freshen you
sanitizer,
up, even for your face.
Oh, we're coming there. If you do not have sanitizer for your hand, you use a wet wipe. It does the same thing. And it also cleans the surfaces. So we have the multi-purpose use wipes right here. They are wet. They are delicious. They smell so good. They're made from natural products.
Don't let us eat them all.
So you use, so you use it for the same purpose. You use it to clean. Just have a look, touch that. You use it to clean your hand as a sanitizer. You use it to wipe surfaces.
You see, when
you use it to wipe
you know,
down your face, all the sweat, your neck,
you know,
your armpits,
sometimes
under your breasts,
you're out
and all
there
of that.
and your hands are dirty.
Yes.
There's no water to wash.
Yes. So
This is what I'm
that's where
doing.
it
You
comes-
just, it serves.
It serves.
Yes.
And something else that it does, when you go to a party or you're having all the beautiful fried chicken and all of that, cold chops and stuff, and you look around, there's no water to wash your hand.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You just use that, and it's so fresh. It refreshes everywhere.
And some people who
Yes.
are extra careful,
Yes.
extra meticulous, they have this in their bag, and when they go to places they are not comfortable
Yes.
with how clean the place is,
They start to wipe.
especially in the plane, for instance, they would wipe the
Wipe and wipe and
Yes,
wipe.
Everywhere, yes, you just keep wiping because you never can tell.
The tray there, they would wipe the seats before
You
the
know,
seat.
Yes.
I
I'm,
was
I'm
just,
not that meticulous, but sometimes I see people do it. I'm like, okay,
And then
well
for people
done.
who have sweaty palms, it comes in very handy. Comes in very handy.
I was just wondering.
Yes.
We talked about the toilet seat cover.
Yes.
You know, and you need to. I'm too sensitive. I don't like the environment of the toilet. I'm trying to prevent some infection.
Yes.
But I'm a bit worried because, okay, it's just like the regular toilet cover.
Yes.
But the one I met there when I got into the toilet is being used by everybody. I decided to put this. So my worry is the infection I'm running away from. Because if I want to sit on this, it's actually just my laps I put on the toilet seat.
Yes.
But I'm of the impression that the infection I'm trying to run away from,
It's inside.
yes,
right?
it's breathing in the environment.
Yes.
It's not visible. There are bacteria, there are viruses, they are breathing. So to what extent can
this
covering
protect
the
you?
toilet seat with this help me? Because as I'm sitting, it's coming up in a vapor. You understand? So to what extent can that, yes, it's good to have some level of protection. And I'm going to be sitting just on it.
Yes.
Probably just my laps are touching on it. So these bacteria, they are active.
Yes.
The microorganisms, they are active. They are, in fact, coming out from the toilet bowl and they're
Right.
eating us. So
how?
And some of them are airborne, right?
Yeah.
yes, they're already
Some of them
airborne.
are
And then the more, as you sit on the toilet seat, you're actually getting closer to them. So
You know,
really,
I love that question that she has asked because it has brought me to the point that I have forgotten one other special
good.
Item
that needs to go in that box.
Okay.
It's your bleach.
Your what?
Your bleach.
Wow.
Okay.
It's your bleach.
Okay.
Yeah? Now, you know that bleach kills even HIV. The virus that causes HIV. It kills it. Oh, read it up. You'll find out. It's there. I did my own research.
Oh, really?
So what I normally do too, you see the bleach comes in various sizes.
Just by way of information, is if the virus is placed somewhere and you put bleach on it,
Exactly.
it will
Ah,
die.
not
But
in-
not to
Not
drink
when
it.
it's in
Not
your
in
system.
before.
Don't drink it,
Ah,
please.
That's it.
Let's
Dr. Brahma did not
make
say
that
go and
really
drink
clear
bleach to
before,
cure HIV.
before
No.
we get someone down a bottle of...
Dr. Brahma did not say
When
drink
you,
bleach
it's,
to
when
cure
it's
HIV.
external, outside the body is what you're saying.
Yes. That is
why
outside the
people
body.
Otherwise,
That
people
is
are going
outside
to
the
say
body.
you said it's a cure for HIV.
No. I am going to reiterate.
Please.
Dr. Brahma did not say drink bleach to cure HIV. I did
No.
not say
And
that.
you didn't say it cures HIV.
I did not say it cures HIV. I said
kills
it
the
kills
virus.
the virus.
Outside the body.
It inactivates the virus outside the body.
So in other words, you can actually use bleach to disinfect...
That's what it's
Exactly.
saying. It's a disinfectant.
That's
what we're
exactly what
saying.
I'm saying.
Okay.
So let's make her point. The point she was trying to make.
Yeah.
Now, for me, what I do, bleach comes in various sizes, right? And they have various brand names.
That's
So
sachet of 15 naira.
Whatever you're comfortable with. The sachet 50, the sachet...
That's what we're saying. I'm trying to say it's
50 naira sachet
affordable.
one is affordable, but it may not be,
Reusable. once you
what's
open
it called? It may not be wise to nip it and seal it and put
No,
it back.
no, no, no. You
don't wanna
put
make
it in
a
the
mess.
bottle.
So you transfer into a bottle like this that you can squeeze.
Okay.
It squeezes, you see? Or you can just open it and just
Pour a little.
drop a few. So that is what I do to answer the question about the bacteria.
Yes, I
and
think,
all
yes,
of
that is
So
very
you
important.
drop bleach in there.
I told you I'm a student today.
You
I
drop
am
bleach
learning.
into the toilet bowl because the worst thing that can happen to you is to use a public toilet, and when you do your number two, the force of the number two dropping in there brings back retrograde flow, and it splashes your sensitive area, your feminine bits, and then you start itching like a crazy person. So we don't want that at all. So this is also what goes in your first aid kit. Are we not having fun?
We are learning.
Now we have talked about the multiple wipes,
Yes.
multi-purpose wipes.
Yes.
This is the wipe that is for your feminine parts.
Okay.
Your Lucreta, your Lutricia. This is the wipe that is for it. It's only for the feminine
names.
parts.
Felicia.
For your Felicia.
I heard Felicia.
Yes, it is for
Oh,
your,
what did you hear?
Lucreta.
I heard Felicia.
it
I
is
heard
for
Lucreta.
your Felicia. Or it is for your mini Jennifer. Okay? Or for her mini Rita or for her mini Njideka. Right? This is what you use for that. Specifically. This is also an intimate wipe or intimate wash.
Okay.
You just, yes, it's a little soapy already. You don't need to mix it with anything. Just use it like you normally use. It's all natural. It's not scented. You do not want anything going on there. The pH balance is perfect.
Yes, I
Okay?
think I like that. She
pH balance
just,
is
you know, she has emphasized the importance of getting the right item.
Yes.
She just emphasized the pH balance. It's
Yes.
very important
Okay.
because if you're
the
not
fact
using
that
the
it's
right
also
product, it could be a
natural.
problem.
Exactly. It becomes too dry or you start to hurt yourself and you have bumps and all of that. So you just squat in your bathroom, squeeze it in there on your palm, wash, water, you're good to go. Okay? The same thing with that one. You use it to wipe. Now, this one comes in very handy if you're traveling long distance, especially airborne. The toilets are so, I don't know, the toilets are so tiny, I don't know how we even survive. So when you go to do your thing, you finish doing your thing, you just take your wipes, you clean that area, put it in the trash, put on back your underwear, and off you go. Now, let's talk about menstruation. When we put our menstrual pads, some of us, because maybe we have bought the wrong one or we're not putting it properly, especially when they are between 9 and 19 or 9 and 16, they're still grappling with the change of becoming women. They have rashes as a result of using their pads. These are the rashes. These are the anti-rash cream that help to soothe that area and make sure that everything is going on well. Now, as you travel for your festive period or you travel to celebrate with your loved ones, a lot of us forget to carry our menstrual pads along. We are so excited. Ooh. This is something that is so important, but for some reason,
we forget.
We forget. All right? Now, if you have forgotten your menstrual pad, hopefully there are shops close by for you to buy. But if you have not forgotten your menstrual pad and you are lucky enough to take the one that you can wash along with you when you go, yes, the washable, reusable menstrual pad, they look like this. They are made with wings. They are made with clips. They come with
wow.
They come with a special bag that contains.
You need to see the faces of our crew behind the mic, behind the camera.
They come with this special bag.
Okay.
This special bag is a Ziploc bag where in between use you put it in there before you can find a safe and clean place to wash. So they come with the peg. When you finish washing, you just dry it out under the sun, put it on the line, and it hangs out like this on the line, and nobody really knows what it is. It also comes with the leaflets.
Now they do.
Huh?
Now they know.
Yes.
You just showed them.
So now it comes with the leaflets. You read up everything about menstruation, when it comes, how it starts, the number of liter or mils of blood you lose per month, what you need to do to keep yourself clean, how to wash the menstrual pad, and you keep it to reuse it the next time.
Can I?
Right? Then it also comes with. Okay, just a minute. It also comes with the
So you get this pack like this.
Yes,
with everything
yes,
in it.
with everything in it. It's a one-stop shop. So it also comes with the female condom. Okay? Because it is also an entry point where we do not want to preach promiscuity, but we want to preach safety. So you want to be sure that you're not going to get any venereal disease during the festive period. It also comes with condoms.
Okay.
So if the man will not use his condom, the woman will use her female condom to have fun. But remember, we want to keep the fun in the marital setting. So you have the detergent to wash the reusable menstrual pad. You have the soap. And then it also comes with pants, 2 pairs of pants.
Disposable?
No, these are regular pants that you reuse and wash.
Wow.
Okay, the pants. It also comes with the Vaseline to wash your hand.
A normal travel kit.
To wash your hand when you're done
You should have one
with
of
what
these
you're
in
doing.
your bag.
And see what it comes with. These things are already in your first aid kit, but this fanciful or this special
I have one of those. That's
menstrual hygiene toolkit, or what we call the dignity kit, it also comes with its own analgesic and the hand sanitizer.
Wow.
So you will not say that you do not have what you need during this festive period. So the whole thing is like a one-stop shop for you. Now, while we are talking about that, let's look at the tampons.
Or
the bags.
Okay,
or let's take some questions.
Yes. I think
Let's
I would
take
like
some
to talk
questions.
about this a bit.
Please, go ahead.
As a public health practitioner,
Yes.
I'm more worried about other aspects of using this.
Yes.
Now, traditionally, I buy sanitary towel, irrespective of the brand.
Yes.
They're normally packaged supposedly in a hygienic way.
Yes.
So once it's sealed, it's designed to be microorganism free, protected from bacteria and all that, and it's well sealed. Now, and even when you open the pack, each one is such that it's also put in another smaller pack and sealed.
Yes.
Such I only open it when I'm ready to use it.
Yes.
I believe that is for a reason.
Of course.
Because you're going to be using it in a very sensitive place.
Yes.
And I'm aware that when a woman is in her period, you are actually more sensitive and more prone to infection.
Yes.
Because as it were, during that period, your private parts are more like,
Receptacles.
they are more, bruised, and it's like a healing wound. Now, I'm going to be using this. You're advising me to wash it. I'm sure there's somebody that is thinking the way I'm thinking.
Yes.
You want me to wash it. And when I'm finished washing it, I'm supposed to hang it outside.
Yes.
Now, can we think about the number of, the amount, quantum of environmental pollution we have? bacteria, viruses, carbon monoxide, all kinds of things are flying around in the environment where I'm hanging
you're a lab
this.
scientist, right?
Sorry?
Public health.
You said, did you say you're a lab scientist as well? Why
No,
do you
I'm a
introduce
public
yourself?
health practitioner.
Because I'm just, I'm trying to tie all.
Yes.
Her concern.
Yes, yes.
So I'm hanging it out there.
Yes.
So I have all kinds of, the bacteria we're talking about, they hang in
Yeah,
there,
in the air,
microorganisms,
yeah.
bacteria,
Yes.
viruses and all that. So you're asking me to wash this. I'm going to hang it out in the air and exposed to all this level
Yes.
of pollution.
And then you're going to
I mean,
put
have you ever washed your car in the morning and come back in the afternoon and say the amount of dust on it?
Yes.
Right.
So, and I'm going to use this.
Yes.
Now,
So how
you
do you
might
go
be
past
telling
that?
me that, oh, I'm not asking you to hang it outside.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
No, please,
you
hang
clean
it
your
outside. You
room,
need
you
the
come
sun.
back in the afternoon, you see quite some level of
Yeah.
dust.
Yeah,
You
so
have to clean
how
and
do we
clean.
get
So
around
I'm
that
exposed.
also?
Yeah.
So you're not saying I should take this back and use it. I think, I mean, the level of exposure, if you ask me,
So let's
is quite high.
Let's address that.
let's
How do you
address
address
it.
it?
Let's address
Yes, you
that.
need to address it so that people
and
understand,
make
because
her feel a little better.
Yes.
All right. Now,
make them feel it. I'm sure I'm not alone.
Now, oh yes, 70% of women in the 20 states of Nigeria, in the northern 20 states of Nigeria, use cloth as their menstrual.
I was going to
menstrual
get to that.
hygiene material. 70%. This is done. This was done.
Proven.
Research proven by research sponsored in more than 6 of the states of the northern states in Nigeria, right? By Johns Hopkins University, right? That was sponsored, as well as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They sponsored that research. 70%. They don't use this beautifully made washable sanitary towel. They use Ankara,
Cloth.
old cloth. They use old socks. They use old towel. They use old T-shirts, whatever they can grab to, you know, absorb their menstrual blood every month. For the women that do not have access to old clothes, they stay at home, they sit on cardboard paper. They use old newspaper.
This is interesting.
They wrap it and they put it in there during their periods. They sit at home, they do not go to school
I tell you
for
what,
3 to 5 days every month, resulting into 45 to 60 days every academic term, and they end up
Lost.
dropping out of school. So it is for those demographic in Nigeria that we have re-engineered the washable menstrual pad. Now, when you use it and you wash it and you keep it outside, the sun does a wonderful thing. It kills bacteria. When you take it back, you see the way it comes wrapped here to prevent all of the preventables. You do that and you put it in there. For the next month before you use it, you air dry it again. If you like, you iron it to give it some heat to kill whatever may be brewing in there. And you put it in there and you save yourself the anxiety of looking for 500 naira to buy menstrual pads every month. I have had stories of girls telling me how they lose their virginity to unscrupulous men to give them just 500 naira to buy disposable pads.
A lot of people who otherwise cannot access,
Yes.
cannot afford
Yes.
sanitary towels, not
Disposable.
only in the
Disposable.
situation where you're traveling and you forgot,
Yes.
that this would really help. And it
I
can
know
also come
that
in
there's some
handy.
people that can't afford the sanitary towel.
Yes.
True.
Yes, it's
So
even
now-
above 500 naira now anyway.
Yes, now...
What
for
is this
people-
one again?
Yes, can you look at these lovely things? Now, for those of us who do not want to use the washable pads, we use the menstrual cups. We use the menstrual cups. They come in different sizes and colors. So you put it in there. Have a look. You put it in there, and it sits down there very comfortably. It comes in size 10, 15, 20, 30.
I have a question.
Depending
All
on how much you
category.
bleed.
Depending on how
on your
much you
flow.
bleed. Yes, because this is mild, moderate, and severe bleeding. So you put it in there, you just fold it. You see how soft it is. You fold it, you put it in there, it opens up and it sits and it takes position.
Ooh.
It does not absorb the blood. It collects it. It stays in there for 12 hours, so you don't have to change at all the whole day. So you go to work, you do your business, you're happy, you're smiling, you get home, you squat, you pull it out, the blood is sitting in there. You pour it into the WC, you rinse it.
If you have one, right?
If you have a WC, if you don't have a WC, whatever you use as your lavatory,
You
you pour
pour.
it in there. You rinse it. It requires minimal water. You rinse it, and you keep it in the bag it came with, ready for the next use.
Wow.
This is made of medical-grade silicone, and it
I
lasts
have a
it lasts for
question.
10 years.
I have a question.
So imagine
10
not
years.
having to ever buy disposable parts, not ever having to pollute the environment with solid wastes, okay? It causes no infection.
I have a question.
No
Well,
infection.
I have a
Change
question.
it just once a day. Lasts for 10 years.
I have something
Yes,
on
please.
this. You want to say
Yes,
something?
yes. My challenge with this is, Will this not disvirgin a girl?
Not really. A girl is only disvirgin when there's penetration
And
with
the hymen is broken.
a man's, you know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking it's insertion, right?
It is insertion.
Well, if you
Yes.
want to, you say that. What of tampons and tampons?
Oh, we have tampons.
Oh, I'm just
We have
asking
for the
based
same
on your
reason.
question.
For the
Yes.
same reason, I don't really encourage
We have them
tampons.
right
I've
here.
never used one.
We have
I'm
it.
very picky
I'm
when it
worried
comes
about
to
this.
things
Please
to
go
insert.
ahead. We have tampons right here. We have the micro tampons. These are smaller than the regular tampons. See that? They're smaller than regular tampons. They can sit in there all day. You change them every 4 to 6 hours. These are all part of the things that you need to travel with.
And I'm told that
Okay?
it's good for swimming, right?
Oh, yes, very good for
If you-
swimming.
if
But
you
if you
swim.
ask me, whoever is menstruating shouldn't go in the pool just because of
For
hygiene
you want
purposes.
to avoid accidents and be considerate for other people.
No, even you yourself could be infected. You don't know the amount of
So-
exposure you have there.
Now,
Because,
remember we're talking... Sorry,
I still
sweetheart.
want to...
Oh, yes, please,
let's
go
talk
ahead.
about this a
Go
bit.
ahead.
You know,
I can...
Yes.
you've just... what I see in my hand, I think the concept is a good concept. But, you know, I have a problem. I'm always thinking like a biochemist. I have a problem with the material used to produce this. But like I said, I like the concept.
You spoke
It's
about the material. Maybe
Medical
you need to throw
grade
more light.
silicone.
Medical grades.
Biodegradable.
Well, this is biodegradable.
Yes.
If you say biodegradable, does it mean it can dissolve?
That's what it means, exactly.
Okay, well, what I do know, like,
Environmentally
let me just get to what where I'm saying. Like
Yes.
I said, this appears to be a very good product. I like the concept, you know, because one thing is that you may be able to afford something, some other person may not be able to afford
Yes.
it.
Exactly.
So instead of someone else buying sanitary towel 500 or 600 naira every other month, she could just decide to spend the 500 naira, whatever price this is,
Yes.
and it carries her for the next 6
10
months
years,
or
10
thereabouts.
years.
So, okay, yes, okay. So it's still cheaper.
So
Even
you're
if you're
buying
going to
a
use it for
set?
1 year, it's still cheaper.
Yes.
Does it come one in a pack or?
It depends on the product
Okay,
and the manufacturer.
so-
It comes 1 in a pack, 2 in a pack, 3 in a pack.
Okay.
So I have this. The person only now has a responsibility to keep it clean
That's it.
and bacteria free.
Yes.
What we're trying to do here, just so we carry, if you're just joining us in the conversation today, is not just tell you the tips that you need, but also look at it from either way, so you can know whether there are safety issues or not. If
Or
you have
not.
safety concerns, we'll also address them, because we have specialists in the house. You and I are the students today, right? We have a doctor, we have a family,
Nutritional biochemist.
voila. So we are not just saying, okay, this is good to use. We're looking at, okay, how safe is it? If it's not that safe, what are the issues with it? So now we know this is made from, what did you call it?
Silicone.
Degradable-
Medical grade silicone.
Oh, you see?
Yes.
I need a pen and a paper.
Yeah. The same silicone that young women put in their breasts to have their breast lift and breast augmentation and they look beautiful.
Not interested.
The same one. The same one they put in the butt to do the Brazilian butt and look beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we have said that you have a variety of choices to choose from
Right.
during your festive period. Now, I'm sure when we mentioned the female condom, a lot of people are wondering, what is it now? What does it look like?
Do you want to?
Let me show you what it looks like.
She needs to show them what it looks like, just in case they're
This
interested.
is the female condom. You see, it has 2 rings. The one that goes into the vaginal area and keeps it in place, and the one that sits outside of the vaginal area. This is not the super condom for men who have, you know what I mean? This is just for the female vaginal area. That is what it looks like. For people who have never seen it, this is what it looks like, okay? Now, you know the male condom. It's a regular condom that is everywhere. That is what it looks like, the male condom. And then, of course, a lot of people know how to use it already. It elongates as it goes up the shaft. Oh, that is it, okay? So that is the difference between the male and the female condom. So now that in this age where we have women stealing their boyfriend or their husband or their spouses or their partner's condom after, you know, they've done what they normally do. This is...
Is it not
this is
both
a bag.
ways? Doc, I don't like this kind of thing.
No, the thing is on
is
the
it not
increase.
both ways?
It's on the increase of women stealing used
the
condoms
the
and then
millennial
extracting
girlfriend
the
who
semen,
had a baby
inserting
after.
themselves and getting pregnant. So if you don't want that to happen to you, you remove the
Dispose.
condom yourself,
And
put it in the
dispose of
disposal in the bag. This is to dispose both
Can
the
you
male and
flush
female.
them?
You're not supposed to flush. You're supposed to
Okay.
burn or bury.
Okay.
This is the disposal bag for the male and female condom. You can do that and dispose yourself. You can go and burn. You can actually pour out the semen into the lavatory first.
Wash it out.
Wash it out. People go as far as washing it out. Even these days where they steal pads, sanitary towels for all them voodoo stuff. People wash their sanitary towel before they throw them away. This is not.
serious?
I'm not talking about
How
the
careful can
washable.
one get?
I'm not talking about the washable parts now. I'm talking about the regular disposable parts. When the story started trending that people are stealing people's pads, young women after their periods, they wash their disposable pads before they throw them away, so that if it gets in the wrong hands, nothing will happen, right? So you do that to the pad. Now these are ones for disposing adult diapers.
Let's have a question there.
Yes, please.
You see, I don't know, maybe there are somebody out there that is also wondering as I'm wondering.
Yes, please.
You know, you just said the reason for some level of security and protection,
Yes.
you know, is trending, or it said, I haven't seen it happen. Ladies pick used.
Oh, there's a story that's
I'm
trended
coming.
recently. You know, like it's
I'm
very
coming.
it happens.
You
and-
see, it's not because it's trending and people are saying it doesn't mean it's medically or biologically possible. Now, the question I want to ask is, you have semen you have semen there in
in the used condom.
In the used condom.
Yes.
It's already outside the body and in an in vitro environment, like you would say in a test tube or in a plastic or whatever. Now, what is the average lifespan of a sperm? How long is it going to last before I get to extract it and start doing some personal insemination from this to get some level of fertilization?
Guess
You know,
what?
because I know there are a lot of people out there that are wondering, what is this woman talking about?
Yes.
It stays
you
alive
need
for a
to-
while, right?
Yes, so
Yes,
you need
yes,
to,
guess
yes,
what? Guess
you
what?
should be answering somebody's question.
Yes, please. Fantastic question. People who have decided that because their husbands or their partners use condoms and they want to prevent pregnancy, and this woman herself is not using any form of contraception because she wants more children or she wants to entrap the man because he's rich, will do their research. How long does the sperm last? If you collect it from the condom, will it still work? Because this condom have spermicides in
I hope
there.
we're not educating people on how to do it.
No,
We're not educating.
I'm
It-
just spermicide. That's exactly what I'm
has
saying.
spermicide.
No,
It's supposed to kill- it's
spermicide
supposed
means
to
some
inactivate-
substances that kill the sperm.
Yes.
So that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. And how do you substantiate that?
Yes. So you're supposed to kill the sperm, right? But people do their research. And in the moment of making love and all of that, the moment the man is done, you say, oh, sweetie, let me clean you up. You clean the man up. You quickly turn it into a sterile container that you have brought
So
from the
before
hospital.
before the
Before the man
spermicide
knows
does
what's
his
happening,
job,
you put it quickly in a one place, probably in between your breasts, and tell the man something that you want to
This
do.
one
you
is
go
another.
you go to the next room.
This
you go
has
to the next
education.
room. You take a syringe, collect the semen, and inseminate yourself. You can inseminate yourself if you're doing the regular insemination, or you
Okay.
can take it to your fertility doctor.
I'm
as in the
getting-
case that dozens of cases that have been documented that women did, collected the sperm immediately, put it in the sterile container, went straight to the fertility clinic, they put it in cryopreservation. Until after her fertility
be
treatment,
careful, man.
they bring it out of the cryopreservation and then they inseminate her. IVF.
Thank you for that enlightenment.
So, yes,
very, very nice.
yes.
Because I know that there are people outside
Who are
wondering that
wondering,
what
yes.
is she talking about?
Oh my
Yes.
God, it's happening
You know,
every day. Every day.
we need to activate this question so that people
we
out
need
there.
to. We need to. So now, before we round up, right, let's just look at these three products.
Okay.
The first one is the maternity breast pad. A lot of women, after their
yes.
babies,
Yeah, when you're breastfeeding.
their breasts are engorging and leaking. You just use that and put it in
So
your bra.
how many more products are we
and all
looking
of that.
at?
Just two more.
Somebody's asking, they're asking, what are the names of this product? Look, we are just giving you safety tips and the kind of products you need for hygiene during the season.
Yes.
We're not advertising any brand. So there are products that are produced by different companies.
Yes.
You can look for the one that works for you and buy. This is not about
Exactly.
advertising any
Exactly.
particular brand.
Yes.
But these products are available.
They are available.
For you
And
to know
yes,
there are things like that.
Call,
Exactly.
call NTA
We-
International and
we
ask
just
for
want
them.
you to know that there are products like this in the market that can
Yes.
help you during this season.
Festive period.
You're
And-
welcome.
And awkwardly always. Right. So
You're
now,
welcome.
we have talked about the
Let's
breast
do the
pad.
last two.
Breast pad for women who are breastfeeding. Okay,
Yes.
you put the breast pad in there so you don't go
Those are wonderful,
embarrassing
by the
yourself
way, yes.
outside. So we have the panty liners. After your period, you still have some discharge coming out there. You can use this on your pants. It actually saves your pants. It increases the longevity or the lifespan of your pants because the regular or the usual feminine discharge is not get on the pants. Because sometimes, you remember we said it's salty, alkaline, so it can actually change the color of your pants sometimes
Yeah.
when you buy these pants. So when you use a panty liner, it helps you to keep safe. And another thing that the panty liner does, you can change it intermittently. You can change it once or twice in the
So
course
you
of
stay
in the
fresh.
course of a 9 to 5. So you stay fresh. So that
Yeah,
you don't start
depending on your level of your discharge
Exactly.
and what
Yeah.
time
Exactly.
of your cycle.
Exactly. So that's for this. Now you have the adult diaper disposal bags. You know, for some people, when they get to some certain age, because of some certain diseases, they start to defecate on themselves and they pee on themselves. So you use the adult diaper for them.
Yes,
and
would
then
have
you use
stroke and all
exactly.
that.
So you use the disposable bags to just take out the diaper rather than to just drop them in the trash. Okay. Or if you don't have if you don't want to use
Can't you show them what it looks like?
Just use the
I was thinking
regular.
you were going to bring out the adult diapers themselves. So
Okay, the bags.
The adult diapers look like regular children's diapers.
But they're bigger.
They're just bigger.
Okay.
So this is what the bag looks like. It's just a regular cellophane bag. If you cannot buy this one, just use a normal waterproof. That
as we call it in Nigeria.
for you.
It's a polythene
As
bag.
we call it in Nigeria.
They give to you when you go to buy stuff in the market and in the supermarket. So last but not the least, remember we talked about the pregnancy kits or the pregnancy test kits.
And urine
weapon. The urine weapon, according to it's called the Peabody.
The urine shuttle, please.
It's called
looks more like a
Peabody.
shuttle.
It's called the Peabody, okay? So you stand up and you pee with this like a man, and then you also know whether you're pregnant or not. The one that comes without the pregnancy test strip is a regular one. It's a regular one. So this is the one that comes so that there's no hypertension anywhere. This is the one for not checking for pregnancy. So you just put it like you're putting your menstrual pad. You stand up and you pee so that you avoid toilet infection. So I said already, last but not the least, but there are two that I have to talk about before we leave. Right now in India, there's a crazy smoke fog going around. So this is what they are using over there to help them to prevent
what's it called,
inhalation.
a mask?
Yes, a face mask. Inhalation and allergic reactions that comes with the inhalation. All right, so for people who do not like sanitary or what is it called? Deodorant, antiperspirants. So people who do not like it because of once or twice in the past where people have said it causes cancer or it has carcinogenic effects, you can use the underarm pads.
Oh, wow.
You can use the underarm pads. It's
depending on what you're wearing, right?
Yeah, depending on what you're wearing. So the underarm pad, this is the way it comes.
Okay.
You see, it's like a band-aid. You remove this part of it. You remove this part of it.
And then you stick it there.
You stick it not on your underarm, but on the cloth. The cloth you're going to wear.
Yes, so that it absorbs the moisture.
So you stick it like this on the cloth.
So that it absorbs the sweat.
This is like your armpit. Okay? So this is the part that sticks on your dress and it stays put. This part is soft and cottony. So this absorbs the sweat. So you do not sweat under here. Irrespective of the fact that you do not
Or is it that you sweat and it absorbs it or you don't sweat?
Oh, no, you sweat, it absorbs it.
That's a better
So
one.
it doesn't stain your shirt for people who do not want to use the deodorant. So I hope that we have been able to teach you quite a lot. I wish that a lot of you were here to ask me questions. I love questions, so that we can be on the same page. So
I think Jireka did a very good job of the question part.
I should take a sip of water to,
Please, you need that. But you've done an amazing job, and there's quite a number of things I'm going to have to get after this program for what I've learned. I told you before we started. Did you forget something?
Rita, I forgot something.
You forgot something. Wait.
Oh my gosh! Look
What
at
is
that.
that?
Look at that. Remember we talked about the analgesics, right?
Is that the pain?
The patch, the pain patch. Remember we talked about analgesics. That is the paracetamol, Panadol. If you're having menstrual cramps, you take those. Or if you're having fever and all of that.
I've used this before.
This is something different from just taking it orally. This one, you just line it on your abdomen.
No, please don't open. Can you give me?
Sure.
You line it on your abdomen?
Yes.
Okay, it's different from what
Yes, look at that picture there, if we can zoom in. Just like that.
So it takes...
You see? You just
so most likely for people that dysmenorrhea?
Dysmenorrhea for menstrual pain. So you
I was going to ask, what is this?
This or dysmenorrhea.
You remove this part and just put it on your abdomen like that. So gradually the pain seeps into the abdomen, into the body, or the medication, seeps into the body and stops the menstrual pain.
But
you don't have to drink
ask a question. I want to know whether it serves the same purpose.
Yes.
I used to get really bad... they call it cervical spondylosis, right?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
So really crazy back pain. And
yes.
once when I traveled, I was with a friend whose husband is also a medical person. He just went in the house and brought
a patch
one
for
of
you
these
like
for me,
this.
and I had it right there. Is it the same thing?
Oh yes.
It was amazing. It's
yes.
cool.
Yes.
And it's like it just sips the pain away.
Menthol. Yes.
I came with a couple of it when I was
it's
coming
fantastic,
back.
especially for people
really
who it is difficult for them to swallow anything that is bitter or anything that is called a medication.
Or maybe you won't have an infection down there.
Yes,
you can't
and then for people who do not want injections, because people have terrible menstrual pains. So you just put that one right there, and then you just go and rest.
You are just like a darling. Can I give you a hug?
Yes, please.
Beautiful. Right there from here. Yeah. Great. Now they know we have some wires hanging from somewhere. Oh my goodness,
So,
I don't know about
that's
you,
about
but
it.
this has been
That's
a
about
festive learning episode for me. I think you also learned something. Jideka, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think I should give her a hand for all
Yes.
the questions that
Well, you know,
our
it's
audience
going
couldn't
to
ask
be,
us.
our wires will just
Yes.
unplug if I go that way. That's why I'm not giving you a hug. But darling. Right, so be very happy this season. Make a couple of chicken. Make sure you slice some. Make sure some are full. Have all the rice you want, but
Where's the chicken coming from? The borders are closed. Where's the chicken coming from?
come on.
The borders are closed. Where's the chicken coming from?
Oh, we have chicken.
Okay, we
right
have
here
chicken. I
in
forgot,
Nigeria.
sorry.
Our poultry farmers are begging the government do not open the borders. And then the Ogoja rice farmers are begging the government.
Topic for another
don't open the
edition.
borders.
Producer, we're going to have a border closure episode on the conversation. That would be very interesting
And then
to
good
talk
news,
about,
good
right?
news. The Ogoja rice producers say they are going to slash the 50 kg bag of rice from 25,000 to 14,000.
We are going
So,
to another episode, Putin. You see, this is how these things happen. Like Bob,
Yes.
we have a new edition of the program. Thank you for being there. I'm sure you enjoyed this as much as we did enjoy bringing the program to you. A big thank you to everyone who is behind the scenes smiling at us, making sure this goes well. Thank you, producer. Did we overdo our time? Maybe not. let's not find out from him yet. Jideka, thank you for coming through. By the way, she flew in this morning for the show. You're
nice
such
to
an
have you
amazing
here.
person. Thank you so much. And Doc, May,
What can I say?
you get fire.
What can I say? What's
My
Yoku?
name is Rita. Thank you for having a conversation with us. Have yourself a fantastic and safe holiday. Bye-bye now.
This week on Executive Discuss. Stamps is money.
Money.
Yes. It's a store of value. You know, because we have a very strong philatelic tradition where people collect stamps. And recently we launched the 100 years of Nigerian stamp,
Yes.
1914 to 2014. It's a collection, a compendium of stamps that tells the history of our nation from the day of amalgamation to
amalgamation to
2014.
Good morning and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. Modu. Now let's take a look at some of the headlines. 17 abducted students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, escaped from their abductors as security agents intensify rescue mission. National Assembly calls on federal government to expedite action towards ensuring safe return of all abducted school children. Ajakuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline project to mitigate energy deficit in Nigeria. National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies meet with political actors are stakeholders in the democratic process in Abuja.
Is not limited to elections, though, but also play a critical role in resolving contentious political issues.
Thank you for joining us. And 17 out of the missing 333 abducted students of Government Science Secondary School Kankara have escaped from the hands of the abductors. This was confirmed by the Director General Media to Katsina State Governor Abdul Labaran Malumfashi in a telephone interview with correspondent Shehu Adamu.
It will be recalled that on Saturday night, armed bandits attacked Government Science Secondary School Kankara and abducted 333 students of the school, which was established in 1980. And since the abduction, security are working tirelessly to rescue the students without collateral damage. To this end, 17 out of the missing 333 students have escaped from their abductors. Speaking to NTA News on telephone, Director General Media to Katsina State Governor Abdul Labaran Malumfashi said government is doing everything humanly possible to rescue the remaining missing students. Meanwhile, parents of some of the abducted students have expressed optimism on the commitment of government in rescuing their children and pledged to accord all the necessary support and cooperation to the authorities.
The mode of approaching of this money, in fact, it started giving me an impression that inshallah, our people will be great, inshallah.
It is against this background that the Special Advisor to Katsina State Governor on Security Matters, Ibrahim Ahmed Katsina, appealed for more understanding as security operatives are doing their best to bring back the abducted students. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
And Senate has condemned the recent abduction of some students from the Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State, and called for an expeditious rescue mission by security agencies. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports.
Recent abduction of some students from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State, was the focal point this time. Senator Bello Mandia moved the motion, which highlighted the many security issues in Nigeria and called on President Muhammadu Buhari to consider and implement the recommendations of the Senate Ad hoc Committee on Nigeria Security Challenges.
If no immediate action is taken to rescue Kankara school boys, their fate may be sealed in the hands of terrorists. Yesterday, armed bandits were roaming the street of Tagina, and Beji is just about 20 kilometers to Mina.
Why can't we seek for help outside? Let us come up open and seek for help.
Security concerns continued with Senator Abubakar Kyari, drawing the attention of the Senate to the attack on the IDP camp where Nigerians are camped in Niger Republic, which led to the killing of 37 persons.
Urge the federal government to send, as a matter of urgency, medical and emergency relief materials to the victims of this attack, to return our displaced refugees in other countries.
The situation has come to a head, and I believe that when situations reach this level, this crescendo, the solution is nearby.
Senate thereafter passed the Finance Bill 2020, which seeks to update Nigeria's tax laws to be able to address economic challenges posed by COVID-19. This is sequel to the consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Finance, which recommended the amendment of the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act for automation of its operations. Senate is to investigate alleged loss of 1.2 trillion naira accruable to the federal government due to breach of 2000 to 2001 fiscal incentive package by Sinopec Adax Petroleum Company. The Nigerian Peace Corps, Nigeria Hunters Council of Nigeria Establishment Bills, and the 2021 FCT Appropriation Bill of 299.9 billion naira passed second reading. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has also called on the federal government to expedite actions towards ensuring the safe return of all abducted school children, the recent of which are students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, in Katsina State. The issue came under the matters of urgent public importance during plenary Tuesday. Details with National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali.
In the bipartisan motion raised by Representative Musa Sarki Adar, House members recall past abductions of students in Chibok, Buniadi, Dapchi, and several other locations. They stress the need for the implementation of the Safe School Declaration by providing adequate protection in the school environments against attacks by insurgents, bandits, and kidnappers.
Attacks on schools is a violation of humanity and basic decency. Therefore, the federal government must put a stop to senseless attacks on the hopes and dreams of a generation of children.
The House has passed a resolution based on a motion from Representative Olajide Olatunbosun, urging the Minister of State for Labour to halt all processes of commencing the 774,000 jobs allocation under the National Directorate of Employment until selection of beneficiaries is verified. The lawmakers said the president was ill-advised on the sacking of the DG of NDE.
These are very important salient points. An otherwise commendable, very good, ambitious program by Mr. President. We should not allow it to be tainted in any way.
Mandate the Minister of Finance not to release funds for this program until all issues that are related to non-compliance to due process are resolved.
Meanwhile, a bill to alter constitutional provisions to enable councils of traditional rulers to advise the president and governors, sponsored by Representative Onofio Luke, and the bill seeking to strengthen the Police Service Commission, sponsored by Representative Yusuf Gagdi, passed second reading.
Provide for the composition and management of the Police Service Commission, charged with the responsibility, among other things, to appoint and exercise disciplinary control over officers of the Nigerian Police Force other than the Office of the Inspector General of Police, and to strengthen the Commission to be more functional in its operations.
Tuesday's plenary featured first reading of 23 bills. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila read out the notice of defection of Aliu Detsi from PDP to APC and Usman Anjuma from ABGA to APC. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And as the Buhari administration is working harder to improve the security situation in the country, the All Progressives Congress wants the nation's security agencies to dig deeper and do better by ensuring that students can go to school safely and learn across the country. APC Chairman, Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, Governor Mimala Buni, in a statement says there is no greater harm that insecurity can do to a nation than to destroy its education and the future of its youth. The APC believe that the security agencies have the will, commitment, and training to restore public confidence in their ability to secure the lives and property of Nigerians, and urge them to demonstrate this commitment by more robustly going after criminals and denying them the space to perpetrate crime. In a statement, APC assures Nigerians that it will continue to work with the federal government, security agencies, governors, community, and traditional leaders and other key players to address and improve the security situation in the country, and pray that the ongoing effort to free the abducted students from Kankara Science School will be successful. Now, the APC national leader, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu Ahmed, has made a case for engagement of youths in the killings of rice farmers in the state. He made the call while commiserating with the government and people of Borno State over the killing of rice farmers in the state. Details with Mohammed Goni.
Killing of innocent Zabromari rice farmers at Koshepe village of Mapa local government has sparked national and international condemnation, with experts and stakeholders offering a wide range of recommendations to avert the reoccurrence of the incident. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that recruiting the youth into the military, police and other paramilitary establishments is the only way to stop the youth from falling into the hands of the insurgents.
We've seen the reaction of the federal government. We've seen the reaction of the armed forces.
This is no longer a conventional warfare. This is more tactical, more reasoning, more crude.
The APC national leader described Governor Zulum as a courageous and talented leader who took the responsibility to see to the end of the insurgency and assured him of his support at all times. Governor Zulum thanked the elder statesman for the solidarity and condolence visit.
We remain grateful to you for all the support and empathy that you have been showing, you have been rendering to the good people of Borno State.
The governor also appreciated the words of wisdom and encouragement of the elder statesman, which he explained will take the states and the nation forward. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Police Force is expanding facilities at the newly established Police Basic Secondary School, Abuja, to enable children and wards of police personnel access basic and qualitative education. Francis Form tells us more.
A quarter guard parade by students of the Police Basic Secondary School, Abuja.
Sentry mounted by Police Secondary School, Abuja. Commanded by Abdurrahman Abubakar.
A two-story building of 14 classrooms, 4 administrative blocks, 2 halls with an ICT center containing 40 computers and other facilities have been unveiled.
The above million facility were consulted internally by our project intervention unit. Our result is to ensure judicial utilization of the mega resources at our disposal.
The police chief says it is part of efforts aimed at enhancing the intellectual well-being of children of police personnel.
The initiative is also part of the broad welfare program for personnel of the force. Aside this, we have invested massively in the renovation, modernization, the equipment, and expansion of our existing police colleges and schools across the country.
The IGP encouraged police personnel to take advantage of such educational facilities nationwide to enroll their children while focusing on safeguarding lives and property. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Organization has expressed worry over the alleged collaboration by some Nigerians with the Amnesty International to disregard ongoing post-EndSARS investigations. National Coordinator Ni Akinshiju, during a press briefing at BMO Secretariat in Abuja, urged security agencies to be alert to the antics of some foreign bodies who, rather than use their coalition for the purpose of galvanizing Nigerians to survive the negative impact of COVID-19, are only interested in frustrating government genuine intention.
That this investigative panel, which they intend to run parallel with the state's judicial panel, is nothing short of a charade paid for by Amnesty International and Transparency Initiative to smear the image of the Nigerian army with contrived testimonies. We invite Nigerians to see how some of our countrymen have descended to the level of dragging their own country for wads of dollars, and advise Nigerians to reject these enemies of the nation and their self-serving mission.
The Buhari Media Organization has appealed to the people to explore the open platform of the judicial panel to improve their claim of massacre at the Lekki toll gate. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies meet with political actors and stakeholders in the democratic process in Abuja. Details of this shortly. Welcome back. Our President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has described the contributions of women in politics as invaluable and must be encouraged. He was speaking when he granted audience to a group of Yobe State women who are political office holders. The women, led by a member of the House of Representatives, Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim, urged the President of the Senate to remain committed to women emancipation and champion the involvement of more women in politics come 2023.
We are here to seek for your words of wisdom, as we believe that you are a very gender-friendly person.
Some of you are already SSA and so on and so forth. But I think we need to do more, and we'll support our governor to ensure that we get more. Personally, I believe that women should be given all the opportunities to go to school, because that is where we'll have the opportunity to empower more of our women.
And as part of efforts to improve the democratic process in Nigeria, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies is meeting with political actors and stakeholders in the democratic process in Abuja. Austin Anyebe reports that the dialogue centered on political parties, party ideologies and national interests.
Serve as vehicles for electing leaders in any democratic society. This therefore means that the formation of parties, structures, internal constitutions and manifesto are important to the development of democracy. The gathering here, which is aimed at conducting a diagnostic review of political parties in Nigeria, also seeks to examine how they can galvanize national interest.
The consequence of this has been the absence of issue-based political campaigns, national cohesion, and inclusion that rest on the fulcrum of national interest.
Stakeholders at the meeting maintain that political parties in Nigeria must be inclusive in their ideologies and ensure that every citizen is carried along in the electioneering process.
The significance of the political parties is not limited to elections, though, but also play a critical role in resolving contentious political issues and setting policy directions and alternatives for government and the society.
We are working hard to change the phrase that you already know, the phrase that says free, fair, and credible election. We've added one more word: inclusive, free, fair, and credible election.
How will we nurture them, build their capacity as agents of change in terms of consolidating Africa's democracy for good governance and economic prosperity of our people? So in Sierra Leone, it is the same values we promote.
The roundtable is convened by the Political Parties Leadership and Policy Development Center of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
And imperatives for sacrifice, selflessness and patriotism are reflective of a new book, Dear Goodluck Jonathan, written in honor of former President Goodluck Jonathan Ebele and unveiled in Abuja. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the event was an assemblage of Nigerian people united for a character deserving of their recognition and honor.
This group would perhaps have had no reason to convey, but for a key moment during the 2015 presidential election, then President Goodluck Jonathan had in a critical and tense moment conceded defeat, acknowledging that the major challenger in that election, President Muhammadu Buhari, was on the cusp of victory. Years later, and the story remains revealing. Told in these 35 chapters and 185 pages book, the author Bonaventure Philip Miller captures the maturity, humility, patience, and patriotic disposition of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, despite the mirage of challenges associated with governance. The book reviewer and the then spokesman to the former President Reuben Abati concurred on most of the issues raised by the author, serving governors, former ministers, and legislators, members of the diplomatic community, and the bar extolled the leadership virtues of the former Nigerian leader.
Moving together as one indivisible and indissoluble nation under God must be done, and indeed he has done it.
You have made a name for Africa, in fact for all developing countries, and you have made a name for democracy.
If God chooses that way to answer our prayer for peace, may God continue to make you that epitome of peace throughout your lifetime.
Nigeria is proud of you, Africa is proud of you, the world is proud of you.
Thank you, sir, for not allowing your personal ambition to override national interest.
The celebrant, who was overwhelmed with the honor, asserted that Nigeria is continually desirous of quality leadership and insisted on education as a major tool to achieve a united and prosperous Nigeria.
We must take a deliberate policy. So my drive, my philosophy was to use education to change the society, to change Nigeria. Economic development or whatever development, my thinking, my philosophy was through the educational program.
Many believed the book reflects the true character of the man who made the last call that stabilized the nation's political landscape on the onset of a new phase in 2015, and such literary appreciation tend to boost the public standing of that same man who, after service to his fatherland, remains a celebrated hero both within and outside the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And culturally, the receipt of gifts by a public official is not illegitimate, but the acceptance of such a gift could be in breach of code of conduct for public officers if it is intended to influence the official's moral judgment. Now, the Code of Conduct Bureau is working with the Federal Capital Territory Administration to ensure that the agency's officials engage in good ethical conduct. Olabode Arowa tells us more.
Mr. Usman Momo is an assistant director at the Federal Capital Territory Administration in Abuja. He says his schedule of work regularly brings him into constant contact with situations which requires his taking ethically sound decisions. He and other officials of the FCTA are participating in this enlightenment workshop on how public officials could ensure strict compliance when filling their assets declaration form for public officers.
There's a great benefit because it will widen our knowledge on ethics of code of conduct. So it is a great importance for every public servant.
Chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Professor Mohamed Issa, says remote tracking of the assets of public officers by the Bureau is being intensified with the aid of technology.
Ignorance of law is not an excuse, but constitutional provision tries to block that inadequacy by mandating the Code of Conduct Bureau to carry out enlightenment campaign on the importance of discharging such obligation in fight against corruption in Nigeria.
When there is order, there is always progress. And we must do all within our respective offices to ensure that we comply 100% with the code that guides our operation and affairs.
The workshop is organized under the auspices of the Reform Coordination and Service Improvement Department of the FCTA. The Code of Conduct Bureau believes that when public officers truthfully declare their assets, they are better protected under the law. In Abuja, Olabode, NTA News.
Effective partnership as well as the creation of strategic policies are a few ways to harness the potentials in water transportation in the Niger Delta region. These were some suggestions made at the Katsa visit by the National Inland Waterways Authority to the Presidential Amnesty International office in Abuja, where they solicited partnership. Butwa Mila was there.
George Mogalo, Managing Director, National Inland Waterways Authority, speaking on reasons why NIWA and the Amnesty Office need to have a strong synergy. For him, this synergy will help develop and provide employment for youths of the Niger Delta through a cohesive structural development of transportation along the waterways in the region.
So we felt to a reasonable extent that we can create a strong synergy between our office and the Office of the Presidential Amnesty in areas of training, because we have the training facility to help you in training the youths of the Niger Delta, in providing them with opportunity to explore or develop themselves.
Colonel Milan Dixon, Interim Administrator, Presidential Amnesty Program, reinstated commitment to partnerships geared towards national growth and development in the Niger Delta and the country at large.
This program was set up as a response to the disaffection in the region, and we believe that for there to be stability in the region, we must reverse the seemingly, lack of employment opportunities in the region. And so we welcome your initiative and the package that comes with it.
Both parties made strong commitments to mutual cooperation that will culminate in the development of national economic growth. In Abuja, Butuo Miller, NTA News.
In other news, the Ajakuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project has been described as a revolution that will reduce energy deficit in Nigeria. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says the project is already impacting on communities along its corridors through job creation, with more still in the pipeline. Zainab Ahmed says government is committed to its timely completion as she joined the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Temiprio Silva, and GMD of NNPC, Mele Kyari, to assess the progress of the work on the project in Kaduna. They are confident that the project will be completed on schedule despite COVID-19 pandemic, and the project is expected to be delivered in 24 months. Moving on, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo received a United Kingdom delegation on trade which is in the country to discuss Brexit, among other issues. The discussions around improving relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom across different sectors, especially in the post-Brexit era, as the Vice President noted, will make a difference for both countries, as the Vice President observed. The COVID-19 pandemic era offers opportunity for Nigeria and the UK to adopt innovative ways of addressing challenges facing both countries, noting that education, capacity building in the judiciary sector, among others, are important areas of interest to Nigeria. Leader of the Prime Minister's Trade Envoy to Nigeria, Ms. Helen Grant, said the visit to Nigeria was a deliberate effort by the United Kingdom government to deepen conversation with friendly countries across different sectors ahead of Brexit. She said aside trade, both countries can work harder to strengthen ties in agriculture, health, technology, judiciary and other sectors, expressing her country's interest in ensuring that Nigeria records improvement. And you're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Still up ahead. FCT confirms higher.
NTA, you can't beat the rich. You can follow.
Cross River State in south region of Nigeria is always regarded as the tourist capital of Nigeria. From the magnificent Obudu Ranch Resort to the Kwa Falls, as well as the fascinating Tinapa Business and Leisure Resorts. One major attraction that has not been celebrated like the other endowments scattered across the state is the breathtaking Agbokim Waterfall. otherwise known as the eighth wonder of the world by the local populace.
Agbokum waterfall is one of the wonders of the world, but we see this rural syndrome has made it moribund. Just imagine that Agbokum waterfall was in Lagos, was in South Africa, or Abuja. You discover that cities, institutions, businesses will be built around it. And that will not only expose Nigeria, it will expose the immediate community to a lot of businesses. The chain will go around them. But because it is located in a rural environment like Agbokum, most of what we see is research work, inquiries, investigations, suggestions that have been going on for more than 55 years.
This nature's gift to the nation is located about 17 kilometers to Ikom local government area and about 315 kilometers from Calabar, the state capital. The proximity of the fall to the Nigeria-Cameroon border further accentuates its value as a tourist destination of choice, since it affords tourists the opportunity of killing two birds with a stone by planning a trip to Cameroon as part of an holiday to the fall. The waterfall is surrounded by lush green valleys and steep hills which are enveloped in a rainbow-like aura. Its freshness is captivating and has an alluring serenity. Oral tradition posited that the falls was first discovered by a hunter on a hunting expedition. The discovery of the complex river between Cameroon and Agbokim waterfall led to the migration of the hunter and his people to the location, leading to the formation of the Agbokim community.
It was discovered by Njang, who born Obi Njang, and that's why this place is called Agbokum Obi. They were down the river. They were hunters. So when Njang came here to discover this place, it was already a waterfall. He fell and dropped his hand there. That Ngbong coming far. Ngbong coming. That's Agbokum. That's Ngbong. I don't fall knock hand here. That's why it is called Agbokum. Ngbong coming. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, he went and told the father that the place I saw there as a hunter, I will not leave the place. So let's go there. The father came and saw it. The father to Njangu. Who is the father of Njang? Ntankum. Ntankum. That begot the entire Abonenta. Abonenta comprised of what? Agbokum, Ishuatai, Adaso, Efraya, Ekmaya, 5 communities. One father. So every son went and found his own place to stay. That's why Njangtu came and found Agbokum to stay.
The richness of the entire landscape, which is a major source of pride to the local community, has been preserved by the community over the years.
Here in this place, we receive visitors. If you come here, we'll take you around the area. First, we'll tell you about the water. The water is coming all the way from Baswa in Boki local government area. Reaching at the rock now, it had to split into 7 rivulets, where you can see them there flowing. Rivulet 1, 2, 3 to 7. But this 5 and 6 is meshed together. That one that have that heavy pour, it had 465 megawatts that can generate electricity within the state and beyond. And then all of them now are pouring in a central base, flowing slow and steady to meet with the river. When you throw your eye down, you will see the river there. The river is coming all the way from Cameroon. And there's a conflict where this water and the river meets. This water is cold, while the river is hot.
They did not only discourage deforestation in the entire area, they equally encouraged afforestation, which in turn adds the increase in the volume of water.
I feel privileged. Most indigenes of this village, they'll always be proud that they are from here, because this is a side attraction in Cross River State which you can't find anywhere in Nigeria.
The fall is actually on the Cross River, where it descends in terraces through the tropical rainforests. It consists of 7 streams, each cascading over steep cliff, which provides a 7-faced form.
It does not flow and ends here. It flows and ends at the Atlantic Ocean. It flows and ends at the Atlantic Ocean because the major river flow from Afonti in Cameroon into Cross River, out of Cross River into Atlantic Ocean. But where the source, the tributaries as a source of a creek or a delta flow out of Agbokom attraction here to the beach, there has a joint together as a mini confluence. And at that junction, it has some geographical expression, which the waterfalls itself is 100% cool, very, very cool by nature.
The enchanting spectacle provided by the waterfall, particularly at its peak. In a bid to preserve the rich flora around the whole area, the community did not only treat it like a sacred place, they equally built some of their local festivals around it. Thus, it was not surprising that the local populace had a nostalgic feeling of what growing up was like around Agbokim waterfalls.
As a young man growing up from this community, I was opportune to have seen so many things that went on at my little age. In this village, we used to have a goddess the villagers worship. They sacrifice to, so we have it like a feast. When we were young, like kids, they had to tell all of the children to only wear your shorts. If you are a female, you only tie a wrapper. Then they rub some stuff on you, and then you go around the village singing in our traditional language that let wish die and let children come, because we need to grow the village. So it was an interesting thing.
Agbokom has been a very calm and a good village that everyone wants to come and know about that village, not even waterfall itself. But now come to look at the waterfall itself. So when everybody comes there to know about the village and then come to see the sightseeing, to see the waterfall itself, they were like, wow, people have a nice and wonderful place like this. Yes, a place to behold. A home is the best. So we believe that Agbokom waterfall, we are pleased. Even if I can be in Lagos without coming to Agbokom waterfall for a month, I will not be okay until I come to Agbokom waterfall and then realize that yes, I'm in my home. And I believe that Agbokom is the best.
The people equally regard each of the 7 falls as 7 different deities to which sacrifices were offered in the olden days, thereby underscoring the reverence the people had for this nature's gifts.
As we are in Agbokom waterfall, it is a kind of a delta village because it is divided into 7 areas. But as it's coming, it's just one stream or one small river. But it came and divided itself. It becomes a delta. That 7 falls today now went down and joined again into one single small river. It went down there and formed a confluence.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Entel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit entel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Entel. Live more.
Beyond the beliefs of the people, in the early days of the waterfall is the huge potential that this our inspiring destination has to offer. For instance, the intensity of the water cascading from a very high altitude makes the fall a very veritable source of electricity. It is therefore not surprising that previous studies carried out reveal the possibility of generating as much as 450 megawatts of electricity from the falls. The people of the area cannot wish for anything better than the commencement of such a major project by the fall.
The water itself, the attraction is heavy in the sense that it's natural. And the tributaries are 7 in number that are pouring. And the hydroelectricity strength of all the 7 gives you up to about 455 megawatts. As it is, the strength of Agbukam waterfalls can generate electricity into about 3 states if the possibility of placing or mounting a turbine right in there is done.
Added to this potential is the ability of the waterfall to enhance the supply of potable water for the entire area. Beyond these utilitarian values, however, is the huge tourism potential that the place is blessed with. The joy and the tranquility that the site offers every visitor can easily turn it into a major revenue earner for both the people and government.
For me, if they develop the hospitality sector will develop the agricultural chain. The agricultural chain will develop other aspects of commerce that will serve that industry. But when it comes to stay in the psyche of people all over the world, that they can receive 5-star treatment in a rural community like Agbokum, they will patronize the waterfall. So they will not just come to see the waterfall, they will also come to rest. When they come to rest, the local delicacies will begin to surface. The local products, agro products will begin to surface. People will become inquisitive. They will taste, they will buy, they will talk about it. So beyond the waterfall, other items of trade and enjoyment will begin to come up. There are wines, local cuisines. The industry, the theater industry will begin to grow because people will now begin to want to entertain these people for a fee. And you can find out that the whole of the economy of Cross River, well driven, can be sponsored from an investment in a place like Agbokum Waterfall.
A trip around the entire area will reveal the hidden treasures within the falls. from the various adjoining rivers crisscrossing the entire landscape, as well as the lush vegetation around the area, particularly during the raining season when the fall is at its peak. Another fascinating feature of the fall is the interesting rock formation around the entire waterfall. Some of the easily noticeable highlights of the rocks are the designs that nature had endowed the site with.
We have a cave, which is a paramount thing, the main thing. And as you are standing there for the public side scene viewing, that point underground, there's a cave with a miniature palace, which is about 2.5 meters by its dimension. We have a tunnel that has a link way in there, down to the little falls at the bus stop. Though that one has to do with spiritism in those days, where the heroes of Agbakam Empire or Kingdom in those days get their way in here, finally out there, from there to the river. We have Face Me, I Face You Rock. And clearly that is a point with a passage at the middle, prepared by God himself.
This place here is a tunnel. This tunnel goes underneath, right inside the village, and then both at the head of the village, where there's another waterfall there. If you go to that waterfall, you see where the water is pouring, the place is open. When you go inside there, here you will come out here. And then they say, well, this is where the indigenous of this village usually have their hideout. In case of war or anything, they just go inside here, go to that other waterfall, disperse to the river. But now you cannot go in. You see that the place is almost blocked. If you go now inside there, you see dangerous things like reptiles and other animals that are living there. Okay, here is a twin rock. If you look at this rock, they separate themselves. It's a twin rock. Nobody did the separation. You see them just separate themselves and then leave this walkable part at the middle. That when visitors come, then walk to this part and then stand there and view the water in a proper shape.
To further accentuate the beauty of the fall and turn it into a destination of choice, some little intervention in terms of staircases for easy access and some accommodation has been put in place to cater for the need of visitors. It is, however, noteworthy that all that have been done so far are far below the status of such a remarkable endowment. For the indigene of the area, the potential of the fall is indeed very huge, considering the diverse nature and background of the visitors that they have received so far, particularly foreigners.
We used to have the whites come, students who come all the way from the UK, they'll come and do their tour here and do studies. They used to camp at that center. They set up their tents there, stay for like 4 months, and like children growing up from the environment, we interact with them, they share gifts, we take photographs, take them to the beach, swim down the river, and go down the waterfalls. And some of the things we could not do, with the help of the whites, we were able to do.
Thus, all that they are canvassing for is intervention of the various levels of government to tap into the richness of Agbokin and harness the same for the common good of the people of the area and the nation at large. In suggesting models of what could be done to transform the site, both tourism experts and the people of the community have a very clear idea of what should be done.
The public viewing point here is not conducive for visitors to hang out for sightseeing. It has to do with a movement up and down to the main Hatch Park itself. With the help of zip line, it would have been better if zip lines have been provided as cable car one flying them down, another coming up, because there's a stress. People going down and coming back home. Some, their BP is high. They are hardly returned back home because the step hills the community afford is not enough. It's about 18 step hills only.
Of all the suggestions of interventions for harnessing the potential of this beauty, the prospect of the falls assisting in the nation's quest for self-sufficiency in electricity is the most lucrative and fascinating. The Agbokim waterfall, the eighth wonder of the world, with 7 separate falls, is always the delight of any visitor any day.
You have seen Agbokim waterfall during the day. You have not spent a night in Agbokim. There are so many wonderful things that will take you out of this world. You see stars and shapes not made by man coming down in bright light. You see rainbows, physical rainbows running around the waters. You see so many things that are not harmful but exciting to your memory that will make people continue to be coming to Agbokim waterfall. So when they come, they will prefer to spend these nights, maybe have a weekend in Agbokim waterfall, a whole week, 2 weeks with your family, 1 month with your family, and it begins to grow over time.
Encountering such a magnificent endowment at a very close range will not only soothe your nerves, but will equally be worth your while. So, when next you're thinking of a runaway or exploration of some of the wonders of this great country called Nigeria, Agbokim waterfall, blessed by nature, will surely not disappoint you.
This is NTA International.
Welcome. This is Bon Appetit, a culinary adventure. Their food mainly depends on the ingredients that are produced in that particular area.
The building blocks of a nation. Doreen Ingaribe and 24 other students have a dream of rebuilding Rwanda. According to the UN Habitat, urban Africa will host 40,000 new residents every day for the next 15 years. This makes it all systems go for the continent's housing and construction sector to put roofs over these people's heads. In Rwanda, they're already looking ahead and taking strides towards their vision for the year 2020. We spoke to John Kamia, the president of the Architectural Association of Rwanda. He is the man with a master plan.
So the master plan is like a blueprint of a vision on how our cities, major cities are going to look like. Our satellite cities, tertiary, secondary or tertiary cities, or how they're going to look like. Our role as architects is to work with public institutions.
But as grand as the idea may be, it can only be implemented by architectural professionals. This needs an educational system churning out skilled graduates. However, the country only has one architectural program fully focused on this profession, the Kigali Institute of Science and Technology, or KIST.
The school was founded in 2009, the Faculty of Architecture and Environmental Design, and the Department of Architecture was the first of those departments. It was started to address an extreme shortfall in expertise in this area in Rwanda. There, at the time, and even still today, there was a lot of development, a lot of construction going on, but very few people with the skills to practice architecture.
This institution will help fill a gap in the labor market and at the same time make it possible to fulfill the master plan. The Architects Association of Rwanda has 32 registered and 40 unregistered members, and increasing these numbers is top priority. It is these young Rwandese architectural students who will design not only their future, but also that of their country.
I was saying my dreams as a future architect to be is to shape or to design the sustainability dwellings so that the citizen can feel comfortable.
Experts peg the housing demand in Rwanda to stand at 25,000 annually, and this number is only set to increase. In this regard, this very first batch of architecture students graduating in May 2013 has their work cut out for them, because this profession has experienced a shortage of personnel for a long time.
Well, we don't have compared to other professions, the number of architects is smaller, as you say, for two reasons. The first reason is that not many people are really interested in this profession, or they did not know much about it before, and the country so far has not produced yet architects.
That was then. Now people are interested in gaining this skill, with hundreds of students trying to claim a spot in the highly sought-after course at KIST. Nevertheless, it isn't all a bed of roses once in the school, as the faculty is experiencing a few teething problems.
We don't have the resources and the facilities to do typical academic resources. We don't have a lot of books in our library, and we don't have access to databases and journals the way that some schools elsewhere in the world might.
But amidst all these challenges comes a crop of passionate students who are ready to play their part. And in the care of this institution, things are indeed looking up, not only for them, but the nation's construction sector as a whole.
Hello and thanks for joining us for the news update at 11. I am Comfort Amadu. President Muhammadu Buhari is participating in the meeting of the Federal Executive Council from his residence in Daura, Katsina State. This is the first time the president will be virtually doing so in the new normal. The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is presiding over the meeting, which is the 37th in the series for the year 2020 and the 28th to be held virtually since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Physically present in the meeting council chambers are the Chief of Staff to the President Acting Secretary to the Government of the Federation, National Security Advisor, and 15 ministers. Other members of the Council, including the Head of Service of the Federation, are joining the meeting online from their offices across the nation's capital, Abuja. Dozens of memoranda from ministries, departments, and agencies are expected to be considered for possible approval. Some ministries will also be engaged on the fact-finding and strategic missions to their states of origin in the aftermath of the NSAS process in parts of the country. The Federal Executive Council is the highest policy decision-making body of the Nigerian government. 17 out of the missing 333 abducted students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, have escaped from the hands of their abductors. This was confirmed by the Director General Media to Katsina State Governor Abdul Labaran Malumfashi in a telephone interview with our correspondent.
It started giving me an impression that inshallah, our people will be great, inshallah.
On the spate of kidnapping of students and teachers across the country, especially the recent abduction of the Kankara schoolboys in Katsina State, has raised concerns about the need to secure educational institutions in the country. Guest on Good Morning Nigeria says beyond intelligence gathering and deployment of security forces, vigilance on the part of citizens is key to checkmating the acts of banditry and abduction even before they happen.
People would have seen them, but because these people have not been fully informed as to exactly what to do, they may have run or they may have kept quiet. And so we need to cultivate communities in areas where we know that is prone to attack.
First of all, you have to solicit it. You have to go out into the community and say, look, we want this kind of information. And you must empower them and let them know that this is going to be useful to the government and for their own good. And then you must now analyze it and then, of course, certainly capitalize on it.
That's the update of the news. Join us again for more updates at 1.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Welcome to another thrilling edition of Lifelines with Mima. We have missed you, and I hope you're doing well. Today, we are going to be discussing the issue of sexual harassment. This is something that many of us have had to deal with, and these days, we're blessed with technology, and so there's several solutions that we can take home. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still Lifelines with Mima. Before the break, I introduced the topic of sexual harassment. This is something that has been there from our history, and up till now, it's a huge problem. There's so many people that find themselves in difficult situations and even have to succumb just to survive. With me, I have Mr. Daniel, who is here to share his own story with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, talk to me. What is the problem?
Actually, I've been working for this company for the past 5 years.
I see.
And the MD have been harassing me sexually. At first, she started throwing some passes which I seems not to understand, but until she came out openly in her office. Because I kept resisting her, she stopped paying me my salary. As I'm talking to you, For the past 4 months, I have not received my salary.
Wow, that's serious.
I've been working for the company for the past 5 years and I have not received a promotion. Or because I refuse to succumb to what she wants.
Why is it that you don't want to succumb? Like, typically, every young man would say, that's a great opportunity, let me take it. But why are you saying no to her?
Come on, I'm married. I'm a married man, I have family with kids.
I see.
I love my wife, and from the day I took those marital vows, I decided to keep to them.
That's honorable. Is she also married?
Yes, she's married to a very honorable man, a noble man with a good heart.
I see. And how often does this happen?
Sometimes she calls me to her office to harass me, and I try to resist her. Sometimes she tells me to errands that are not part of the company duties. I kept resisting her every time. And because of that, I'm suffering.
I see.
Because she has not paid me for the past 4 months and I have kids at home.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I have kids at home. So this sexual harassment of a thing is really, really on my neck.
It's a big issue. It's a big issue. Well, let me start by saying that I feel your pain. I know it can't be easy. And unfortunately, this is the situation. The first thing we will try to do is to reach out to her. Maybe one of my team members will go and officially talk to her, send her a letter or something to just talk to her to calm down, let everything go. You know, we try to go the peaceful route first. So we're going to try to talk to her on your behalf. Now, plan B would be that you take it to court. You actually have worked and earned the promotion. You have actually worked for the month's salary that is being held back. So it is your right. But you see, you cannot go to court without evidence. So my advice would be from now, before we even contact her, you start gathering evidence. Use your phone. You can get voice recordings of when she harasses you. You can get pictures as much as possible. You know, anything you can have that's evidence that we may use in court, so that in case talking to her peacefully does not work and we have to resort to using the court and the police, we will then have enough evidence to use to fight for your case.
Thank you very much.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
Everything will be okay.
I appreciate it.
There you have it. There's more after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Lifeline with Mima, and today we're treating the topic of sexual harassment. Earlier, we had a young man come in to share his own experience, and a lot has been said on this matter. But there's more. I have two people with me now that are willing to also share their unique cases with us. Welcome, Ms. Joy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Professor Ben here. Thank you, sir. Thank you for honoring us with your presence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Okay, let's start with you, Joy. What was your experience like? What happened in your university?
Okay, while in school, I happened to be assistant course rep. And being in the spotlight, I couldn't avoid some wandering eyes of professors. I'm sorry, sir. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I had lots of issues, especially with one particular professor. I kept taking his course over and over, even down to my 4th year.
Wow.
Yes, until they changed him before I was able
to graduate.
Yes, before I was able to do that. Like, I was scared of having an extra year. Like, it took me everything. I had to pray, fast, consult my parent, and because of the fear of the stigma of reporting a professor, I couldn't even dare. Thank God I was able to graduate with my mates. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
But a lot of people were not fortunate.
They had to.
A lot that I know, not ahead of a lot of students. They're not as fortunate as I was. So.
It's so sad. Sir, from a lecturer's perspective, what do you think about this matter?
Yeah, actually, in the society at large, the society only want to know about the victim. They don't care to investigate or to even ask what led to sexual harassment.
Okay.
Not only in the school, in the public places, private places, all over the place.
Yeah.
So one thing would have led to the other. Now, we lecturers, for an example, naturally, we are all humans, first and foremost. I don't want to be personal. We have a standard. We have policies, we have principles, laid out rules, regulations, and guidelines in the school, guiding not only the students, also for the lecturers. So we lecturers are very professional in our job. We ensure that student-lecturer relationship is very cordial. Now, if we're really talking about sexual harassment in this context now, I want to break it down. One, into the cause, what is sexual harassment, and perhaps maybe what is the, I will put it, what is the deterrent to sexual harassment. Let me start from causes.
Okay.
Causes could be breaking down into two.
Okay.
Either social reasons or economic reasons. In the school, social. How does the female students, for an example, how do they dress to school?
Very important.
You see a student walking to the school premises with skimpy materials, skimpy dresses, with all the boobs, everything coming out. And you have a lecturer who has blood, water running in his face.
I see.
What do we expect? Sexual harassment starts with the female student who dress skimpily to school.
They get the attention.
To get their attention. And most of these females, I will refer to what I refer to as STD. Sexually, I'll say, transmitted or translated degree. They want a degree, and they go about it sexually. They want to seduce a lecturer. They buy lecturers all kinds of drinks, all kinds of emoluments, give them whatever they want. Some even offer their body.
Just to
you
graduate.
Book a hotel for a lecturer, you pay all expenses, you invite your lecturer, because you don't attend the classes, you don't do the assignment, you don't do anything. You have this relationship with your lecturer, you want to entice him.
Yeah, to make it easy.
Then at the end of the day, these females will start screaming rape, harassment. That is sexual harassment from the female students. Not only that, economic-wise, they don't have money.
Okay.
Most students, we all know the economic situation of maybe the countries, and they don't have enough money to keep them going in the school.
Yeah.
Not only against the lecturers, even among their fellow students. They start doing what we call ROS.
Wow.
Yes, it starts with them, economically. They start hobnobbing from one person to another, and at times they get the lecturers involved. So it starts with the female students.
Okay.
That is why. I'm not saying that the male lecturers are completely exonerated. I'm not saying that. Because like I said earlier, we have rules, regulations, policies, guidelines.
They must follow.
Against such activities or occurrences in the school.
Okay.
Now, not only that, these female students, most of them, peer pressure.
That's another thing.
Yeah, peer pressure.
They do it just because other people are doing it.
Yeah. You see a female student who say, oh, that lecturer gave me so grade on this particular subject, so you always fail it. Why don't you go and meet him? That pressure from this female student to the other student, he said, if I go, will he agree? He said, no, I will take you to him. I will introduce you to him. And before you know, that will also lead to what they call, in quotes, sexual harassment or rape. Now, if we're talking about sexual harassment, that word harassment, what does it mean? Dictionary definition of harassment, maybe when you are vexed over repeated pressure or on something which you don't want. They say that's a harassment. So a student who dresses every day simply to school is harassing the male lecturers not even only the students, the male students.
I see.
So,
I'm sorry, Mark, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
What about the female students who don't actually dress that way but still get harassed?
No, like I said later, I don't really, I'm not really defending only the male lecturers. Some people are the bad eggs. Yes, there are some bad eggs in every society.
Yeah.
It goes across the board.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the previous preliminary session of the Senate, the 8th session, I went back, there is a bill, this sexual harassment bill, that's been read on the floor of the Senate.
Already, yeah.
Already, that's kind of like they're trying to bring in like 5 years jail term for offenders, either the lecturer or educators, anybody. It's still ongoing. You know, so it is not on, I'm not defending the male, like I said.
Yeah.
There are still some bad eggs that also need to be disciplined. So we can feed them out. But the bottom line, where it starts from, is from the female counterpart, as the students. They originate, they initiate, they start. They kick off this sexual harassment.
But that's not in all cases.
Yeah.
How about those that now have the misfortune of meeting some of the bad eggs that we're talking about, where a lady is decent, she doesn't miss class.
Okay.
You know, she carefully handles herself.
That's right.
But for some reason, this one lecturer is fixed on her and insists that he must have her.
Good. We'll now look at the preventive measures. If a lecturer is maybe harassing you, that's called sexual harassment now. You know, the lady or the student in question dresses very well, you know, and is conventional in a mode of appearance and everything. So, what such students will do to prevent such an occurrence is, if the lecturer is inviting you, do not go to his office alone.
Okay.
Make sure you go with someone, male or female, for whatever.
Yeah.
If he wants to have a private chat or talk with you, the person you went there with can wait by the door side.
So that
for the film, you know that somebody is there. Then nothing of such will really, really happen. Now, for the female also, if you are very sure and you want to really nail this lecturer who is really harassing you, there are many things you can do to garner evidence. You don't just come up and say, this lecturer is harassing me. It's your word against the lecturer's word. So you need overwhelming evidence. You may have your phone, you have a recorder, you can record certain things. You know, these days there is this button you can put on your cloth that can video
that has
your
like
environment.
A camera.
It has a camera.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, I will encourage that.
Okay.
For you to be able to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt that this man is actually harassing me. And if proven, go straight to the Senate.
And report.
And make your report official.
Okay.
And it cannot be used as a blackmail. Because I must talk about it. Most of these students set up a lecturer. When you start talking dirty with a lecturer, what do you expect? And it may be a setup. Then you come with your recorder or your camera and you start recording it. Whereas it's a setup. And you're discussing dirty with a lecturer. At times we want to socialize. Of course, student-lecturer relationship, you want to socialize. And in that process, this student is already setting you up, either with a recorder or with a hidden camera or whatever. You know. So in general, I am still blaming the female student.
I see. Thank you, sir. So, do you have anything to add before we go?
I don't support his theory.
Okay.
I really don't, because I studied in a place where ladies are not just allowed to dress the way they want to, but because of the cultural practices there. So most of all these ladies are well-behaved ladies, but they still faced all this. From men who you see them outside, you say, oh, they are responsible. Oh, this is a family man. Oh, this is a great father. But these men oppress these ladies.
Sorry, let me cut you off in that. What do you think? In the school, in most institutions these days, it is written all over, posters all over, about students, rules and regulations, how they are supposed to dress.
True.
They post it in most places. As you walk into the school compound, they will tell you, no skimpy dress, no this, no that. You know, they will say no wearing of trousers.
No, but she's saying
that they don't dress that way.
How about the girls that are decent?
Yes.
They don't dress funny. They don't act funny. They don't seduce the lecturer at all.
That's right.
But still, this person still wants them and is
That
ready
is
to
on
torment
the
them.
outlook. That is on the facial outlook. What you see is not what you get inside.
So with all due
Many of these
respect,
ladies you are talking about, they look gentle outside, but inside they are like cats.
That's because the lecturers make the move first before they realize those ladies are like cats. That's the truth.
I want to disagree to some extent. I want to disagree to some because we lecturers, we are professionals in our job. We are professionals and we abide by the rules and regulations. I'm not saying that there's no bad eggs. There's still a few bad eggs, but one bad egg cannot rubbish, the integrity of the entire school lecturers or institution.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay, there you have it. We'll be right back.
Yes, we have the situation before us here as brought to us by our client on the sexual harassment case.
Very true.
Yes, so we have to deliberate on it as we always do. So let's start with Mrs. Elizabeth. What's your thought on this case right now?
If I'm not wrong, if I don't forget, he mentioned that some of these students come around to seduce them because they are lazy when it comes to their academics. And they see that lecturers that probably are promiscuous too may give in into their antics when they come to seduce them. You can imagine when a student comes to school half naked dressed, Lecturers, they are not a piece of furniture, they are not wood. The students too, there are so many of them that are very, very lazy. They are very lazy when it comes to their academics. Most of them cannot read. So in this case, I am not justifying the two cases, but I am trying to say that both parties have a lot to work on.
You quite agree with me that from time immemorial, this issue has been with us.
Point of correction, time immemorial.
Is the sentence. You see, students, instead of them to face their book, they will be doing Facebooking. This is where they get the peer pressure, biases of every color. Now, more especially the girls folk and even the boys folk, they go and harass lecturers. And at the end of the day, they believe the lecturer will be victimized. Where are they learning this bad habit from? Bad parenting. Because you never parented your child very well while she is at home. So she go and join bad gang. At the end of the day, she feels she can shortcut. There is dignity in labor. Even in laborers, you quite agree with me, there is dignity. Then for the young man who has gained employment, and the employer and the employee, she wants them to pursue. He can, as a matter of fact, leave the job, because it will not end well if he feels he cannot give him, because nobody will believe him. If the woman, maybe for instance, if she come and label him that he is even a criminal, they will believe the woman.
Yes.
So I think, as a matter of fact, barrister, we should advise this man to leave and see it as sacrifice.
But Malam, we have to actually understand, if he leaves the woman alone, what prevents the woman from doing it to another employee? 6 months you've worked hard, you've given your time, everybody else has been paid, everybody else has been promoted, but you...
It's very simple, barrister. Let me take the wind out of you. The wind out of you. You will quite agree with me in investigating journalism. You quite agree with me, there is what they call a mark money. They can catch her red-handed. It's just to plan somebody who is just like the story of the lecturer, where somebody took it upon himself to set a trap for the woman. Do you understand? So the boy can actually resign and somebody will get employment. You understand? You get the point. That at the end of the day, they will even set the woman and cut her red-handed with some mark money or even mark human being. Me, I can even offer myself to even go to that office. Let her seduce me.
maybe they are going to set her up.
Thank you, Boroma. We are in Nigeria. You are a barrister.
Can I give the legal perspective now?
Yes, very well.
Okay. The truth is, sexual harassment is a crime
Thank you
in
very
Nigeria. Even the criminal law of Lagos State, Section 262, is punishable up to 3 years imprisonment.
Okay.
And Section 224 of the Criminal Code, as applicable to the southern states, is actually punishable too. Even right now, we have what they call the Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Education Institution Prohibition Bill, which is actually at the National Assembly stage to prevent lecturers from taking advantage of their students. Now, this means that it's actually a serious issue. And even for workers and employees and employers, we actually have a court that attends strictly to that. That's the National Industrial Court. And I will tell you, as long as the man has evidence to show that his mates or colleagues have been paid or have been promoted and he has been denied promotion on the basis of the fact that he refused to have any form of sexual intercourse or interaction with her, can actually be an evidence to support it. If, as you say, he should set her up, and he has not come to say, oh, this person is sexually harassing me, I have this evidence, all they will just do is caution her. She owns the company. She's the owner of the company. They can only slap her on the wrist. What would that do? Would that bring back 6 months of his life? Now, try and imagine a child who is 6 months old. And imagine how far the child had to be up to that. That's half a year of his life gone. For what? And no fee. So instead of relinquishing it, I would advise that he meet our team of lawyers or go to a law firm and actually take it up as long as he has the evidence. In conclusion, do you have anything to say,
Conclusion, I don't like conclusion because it's armed robbers that come and say, conclude, conclude. So let me submit.
Okay.
In submitting, I think the man should take it easy. Do you understand? Whatever is hot, at the end of the day, will get cold. Let him not take it hot. But like Mrs. Elizabeth have said, when we see, we will find a meeting ground on how to even go to investigate this woman and see, because monkey and banana, they are peripheral soup.
All right. We've all given our opinion. Let's go back to Mima right now.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us today. I hope you learned something new. But before we go, I'd like to add that the issue of sexual harassment is something that shouldn't be tolerated or encouraged at all. It has far-reaching consequences on the victims and even those that surround them. We've had cases of cultists, cult leaders killing lecturers, lecturers killing students, all because of sexual harassment. We've also had people with fantastic careers and future crumble because of sexual harassment. As much as possible, let's try to be kind to one another. Let's also remember that whatever you do, as they say, karma would still come back to haunt you. And if you don't want it to happen to your own child, to your own sister, to your own brother, please don't do it to another person's brother, sister, child, and the rest. From all of us here, and until we see you next time, please remember that you don't need to go through life's issues alone. You know why? Mima cares.
This is the network service of the NTA.
It was the last plenary of the week, and concerns over the removal of the Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, Dr. Nasiru Argungu, and its implication on the Public Works Program featured as the only matter of urgent public importance. Senator Ibrahim Hadeja moved the motion.
Removal of Dr. Nasiru Mohammed Laden Argungu as the DG National Directorate for Employment, attributed to a press statement of 8 December 2020, issued by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malang Garba Shehu, which indicates that the presidential directive on the removal of Dr. Argungu as the DG NDE on Friday, December 4, 2020, took effect from Monday, December 7, 2020. The Senate notes further the controversies surrounding the removal of Dr. Laden Argungu as the Director General of the National Directorate for Employment, since the news of his removal began trending on the print and electronic media. The Senate observes that while it is within the powers of the President, as the custodian of the executive powers of the federal government, to appoint and remove such caliber of appointees, the presidential directive on the removal of Dr. Argungu as the DG NDE gave room for speculations in many quarters that some unpatriotic people are scheming to undermine and disrupt the implementation of the laudable federal government special works program. This is also capable of creating needless and avoidable leadership crisis at the NDE at this critical time that the federal government intends to leverage on that institution to address the issues of unemployment and youth empowerment in the country. The Senate observes further that it is in the overriding public interest to reconsider and rescind the said presidential directive on the removal of Dr. Laden Argungu as the DG NDE to ensure leadership stability at the agency for smooth implementation of job creation, skill acquisition, and the federal government special works program aimed at benefiting our youths, many of whom are unemployed and remain restless in the streets nationwide. The Senate accordingly resolves to 1. Urge President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to kindly reconsider and rescind his directive on the removal of Dr. Nasiru Laden Mohammed Argungu as the Director General of the National Directorate for Employment in the overriding national public interest. 2. Urge Mr. President to direct an investigation into the causes of the frosty relationship between Dr. Nasiru Laden Argungu and a supervisory minister, the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, and the impact of such frosty relationship on the implementation of the federal government special works program. And 3. Urge Mr. President to further direct that the Honorable Minister of State, Labor and Employment suspend or put on hold the appointment of an acting DG at the NDE pending the aforesaid investigation. I so move, Mr. President.
I not only support and also urge Mr. President and his good colleague to see that yes, the prayers are being implemented. Because, of course, as read in the motion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, all of this, what we have the problem in this country, continuity. For example, now we have this very, very important program, as stated, this 774. And now somebody who, of course, maybe for the last 3 or 4 years, he was not in the organization, now being brought to come and say, okay, let him continue the program. So look at the communication gap. And that, for example, now, maybe before he sat down, settle and then know about this program, it will be another 2-3 months. So there's no need, Mr. President, for the federal government to start just maybe following what some, individuals, they are selfish individuals, at least just to satisfy their interest. Because this definitely will bring a problem. The person now brought to act, of course, maybe I learned he was stabbed before, maybe in one of the states. And he has been cut away from the headquarters for almost 4 or 5 years. So how could that person now come and sit down and even know what is there and then continue implement? So, Mr. President, definitely we have to do something on this motion so that at least maybe if the reverse has taken place, and then let the executive bring all the 2 parties, both the NDE director and also the supervising minister, and sit down and look at what is the possible solution. So not just maybe take unilateral action and say, okay, the MD should be suspended, and then somebody who don't know even program come abroad and then continue. So, Mr. President, I really second this motion, and also I pray that, yes, my distinguished colleagues will support it, and then we make sure that it's being implemented.
My understanding of this motion is essentially to make the point that the Senate and indeed the National Assembly is in full support of this social, the public works program. The recruitment of 1,000 people or our youth in each local government, and that gives 774,000 slots across the country. We are in total support and will continue to do so. We relate with people all the time, and we know the need and the imperative of such a program. This administration is doing well with so many social intervention programs, and therefore we continue to support such programs. I think the problem is the dislocation, if I may use the word, that the sacking of the DG would cause. The NDE successfully implemented a pilot program in 6 states, very successfully, under the leadership of the DG. And if there are rifts between the DG and his ministers, I think we should look at the benefits of getting this program implemented and resolve the issues that may be characterizing the relationship. Here, I believe that the prayer, or one of the prayers, of ensuring that they work together is very, very fundamental. The Senate is always trying to provide calm and understanding. We are very mindful. 40, page 1141, page 1142, page 1143.
We are reaching you live from the floor of the Senate, where the senators have reconvened for the plenary of Wednesday, 16th of December 2020. Well, from the order paper, the Senate will be reading 5 bills for first reading. 3 reports will be considered. Then for second reading, we expect that 7 bills will be coming for second reading. This includes a bill that seeks to amend the National Human Rights Commission. Well, before this time, the Senate had reconvened by some minutes past 10 o'clock in the morning and went straight into a closed-door session. And now the closed-door session ended and the Senate has commenced the day's plenary. I am Ignatius Nkwo.
Page 1158, page 1159, page 1160, page 1161, page 1162, page 1163, page 1164, page 1165, page 1166, page 1167, page 1168, page 1169, page 1170, page 1171, page 1172, page 1173, page 1174, page 1175, page 1176, page 1177, page 1178, page 1179, page 1180, page 1181, page 1182, page 1183, page 1184, page 1185, page 1186, page 1187, page 1188, page 1189, page 1190, page 1191, page 1192, page 1193. Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent Kwara North. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 15th December 2020 be approved. I so move.
Senator Danjumala.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Lai Danjuma, President Kaduna Sawa. I rise to second the motion. Votes and proceedings on 15 December 2020 as voted, please.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 15th December 2020 as amended be approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Just a minute to put down.
No, I have to read it now.
Okay. Well, the Senate is swearing in one of the senators-elect, Senator Stephen Ode, representing Cross River North Senatorial District. Senator Ode was meant to be sworn in yesterday among the other four that were sworn in, but eventually his did not take place, and today he's being sworn in.
Our brother Stephen Adi Ode, Senator-elect, will take his oath. So, clerk, please administer the oath.
I, Stephen Adi Ode, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Then we'll go to the altar.
I, Stephen Abuja,
Do solemnly swear
that
I will be faithful
I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
and faithful allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That as a member of the Senate,
Members of the Senate,
I will perform my functions honestly
I will perform my functions honestly
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully,
faithfully,
in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria
in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria
and the law
and the law
and the rules of the Senate,
and the rules of the Senate,
and always in the interest of the sovereignty,
always in the interest of the sovereignty,
integrity, solidarity, well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives
and directive principles of state policy
and directive principles of state policy
contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And that I will preserve,
And that I will preserve,
protect,
Stephen Ode from Cross River North, Senatorial District of Cross River State, is of the PDP. He replaces late Rose Oko, who died in March 2020. Well, yesterday, Senate had sworn in 4 other persons. These include the immediate past governor of Bayelsa State, Sirake Dixon, who is to replace Senator Lawrence Rujabo, who, as a serving senator, emerged deputy governor of Bayelsa State in February 2020. Another person that was sworn in yesterday is Cleopas Moses of the PDP. He is to represent Bayelsa Central. He is to replace Senator Diri Doye, who, as a serving senator too, emerged governor of Bayelsa State. And then another senator-elect, Tokumbo Abiru, of the All Progressives Congress from Lagos East, is to replace Adebayo Shinowo, who died in June 2020, while Professor Nora Dahtut from Plateau South Senatorial District, also of the All Progressives Congress, is to replace late Ignatius Longjan, who died in February 2020. Well, these are the total number of people that have been sworn in so far, bringing it to a total of 5 out of the 6 senatorial by-elections that took place recently. Is now remaining only 1 senatorial district, that is the one in Imo State, which is yet to be resolved. Well, from the other paper of the day, it is expected that the Senate will have a handful of legislative activities. Well, yesterday the Senate had to move a motion to stay beyond the required time as provided in the other paper, and this is actually because this is coming towards the end of the legislative days of the Senate, who are rounding off for the year. And today we expect that the Appropriation Act 2020 Amendment Bill will be coming for first reading. Then we have the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill. This is one of the bills that will be coming up as part of the Constitution Amendment. That bill will be coming for first reading as well. Now we have a bill on the Industrial Training Fund Act. It's also an amendment bill that will be coming for first reading. Now we have the Students' Financial Aid Scheme Establishment Bill. Well, this bill seeks to provide financial assistance to students who maybe not be opportune to have adequate financing of their education. That bill will be coming for first reading as well. And finally, for the first reading of bills today, we'll be having the Federal School of Basic Studies Establishment Bill. And then after that, we'll be having a presentation and consideration of reports. Some of the reports will be presented, that is laid down before the Senate and considered, while some of them will just be only presentation. Now, the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework, that is MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper, will be presented and considered in this plenary. Yesterday, this report was supposed to be considered, but because of one or two observations, it was stepped down to be considered today. So we expect that the MTEP will be considered. We also expect the Senate to receive the report of its Committee on Police Affairs on the confirmation of the nominees of Chief Onumuche Nnamdi for appointment as member of the Police Service Commission. This is confirmation of appointment. The Senate Committee on Police Affairs had screened this appointee for that position. Now, there's another confirmation that we'll be expecting from the Senate today, and that will be coming from its Committee on Trade and Investment. Well, the Senate will be receiving the reports of that committee on the confirmation of the nomination of 7 persons for appointment as chairman and members of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Tribunal. Well, that composition has Saratu Mamad Shafi as chairman. And on the scale of bills that will be coming for second reading, there is a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2020. Well, this bill is in order to extend the implementation year from 31st December 2020 to 31st March 2021. That bill will be considered for second reading. And until the coming into force of the 2021 Appropriation Act, which will occur earlier, that bill will be presented by the leader of the Senate, Senator Abdullahi Yahaya. Now, we also have on the other paper a bill for an act to establish the National Unity Corps, which seeks to empower, develop, and provide alternative employment for Nigerian youths. Well, it's expected that that bill will facilitate peace and community.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Public Petitions. Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name remains Senator Joaquin Elora, representing Ondo Central. Mr. President, I rise to present petitions not yet laid, but refer to the Committee on Ethics from the Office of the President of the Senate. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senate Committee on Ethics privileges and public petition in line with Order 41, 1 and 3, which is to present to the floor of the Senate some petition not yet to be laid from the office of the President of the Senate. In order to officially place the petition in the public domain through the floor of the Senate and for the votes and proceedings to capture the approval for referral. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, please find below a summary of the petition received from this Office of the Senate for ease of reference. Number 1, petition from Tokumbo Ligadu Oyemade Mrs. Respondent, the President of ECOWAS Commission and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Subject of the petition. Petition from Tokumbo Ligadu Oyemade Mrs. against the President of ECOWAS Commission over wrongful dismissal and termination of her appointment as the Director of Administration of ECOWAS Commission by the President of ECOWAS Commission
embracing disobedience of the President to comply with 5 different judgments of the ECOWAS Court, which ordered her restatement and payment of all her emoluments and entitlements, and flagrant disobedience of directives of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and successful foreign affairs ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number 2, petition from Emmanuel E. Okere. Respondent, Bestward Insurance Brokers Limited. Subject of the petition. Petition on an outright diversion of fraud by Bestward Insurance Brokers Limited and others of over 26 billion naira earmarked for payment of ex-PACN staff insurance premium meant to cushion the effect of privatization of power industry in November 2003. Number 3, Chinedu Efemaku against the managing director of the management of NDDC appeal to the Senate for urgent intervention to compel NDDC to pay Mass Nigeria Limited their long outstanding sum. Number 4, Ibrahim Tanko and Olusegun James. Respondent, the Chief Medical Director and Director of Finance and Accounts of Federal Medical Center, KEFI. Petition against the Chief Medical Director in deliberate connivance with Director of Finance and Accounts of Federal Medical Center, KEFI, of gross million of public fund and internet revenue for the period of 2015 to 2018 years without remittance to CSA and spending of public fund without appropriation by National Assembly. Number 5, Ismail Mohammed and Haruna Daladi against the managing directors of Nigerian Petroleum Development Limited and National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS. Petition against the management staff of Nigerian Petroleum Development Company Limited, Benin City, and National Petroleum Investment Services, NAPIMS, for no full disclosure of internally generated revenue, IGR, ranging to over an average of 1.2 trillion revenue loss annually to the federal government of Nigeria through deliberate spending and misappropriation of revenue due to the federal government without appropriation by the National Assembly between 2016 to 2019 years. Number 6, Sinak Perry Honora Esquire of Honora and Associates. Respondent, Sterling Oil Exploration and Energy Production Company Limited. Subject matter of the petition, petition against Sterling Oil Exploration and Energy Production Company Limited for money laundering, sabotaging the Niger Delta region and the Nigerian economy, and being a gross violation of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, Companies and Allied Matters Act, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and the National Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act. Number 7, petition from Olawumi Olajide Awosedo against AMCON. Petition against the Access Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, for corruption, extortion, insider abuse, collusion and fraud, harassment and intimidation, desperate appeal for intervention of the National Assembly in the interest of the overriding public good. Number 8, Ashakwe Israel against Ocean Marine Solution Limited. Petition from Ashakwe Israel against deliberate attempt by Ocean Marine Solution Limited to set Niger Delta on fire in its ill treatment, high-handedness, negligence, recklessness, abandonment of indigenous ex-militant of the operation area of OML 30. Number 9, Kolawole Johnson against Minister of Niger Delta Affairs and against the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs. Petition from Kolawole Johnson calling on the Senate to stop Senator Gobi Akpabio from seeking Niger Delta Development Commission further. Number 10, Pharmacist Mercy, Sam Ohubua, and 4 others. Respondent, Pharmacist A.T. Mora, the new chairman of the Pharmacist Council of Nigeria, subject of the petition. Petition against the appointment of A.T. Mora as chairman, Pharmacist Council of Nigeria. Number 11, Dionabasi Akwa, against Effion Akwa, the acting executive director of NDDC. Petition from Dinabasi for presidency of suit in court challenging the appointment of Mr. Effion Akwa, an acting executive director of NDDC. Finally, Mr. President, petition from Dr. Eagles Sylvester against the Executive Secretary on top management staff of better education services delivery for all. Petition against Executive Secretary and top management staff of better education service delivery for all, BESDA, for gross miscellaneous of millions of dollars fund ranging to several billions of naira without geographical spread across the country. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to the best of my knowledge, none of the above petitioners is seeking judicial remedy. I therefore move, Mr. President, to seek the indulgence of the Senate to lay the above petitions before the Senate for official referral to the Committee for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Public petitions. Is any of the petitioners seeking judicial remedy?
Mr. President, to the best of my knowledge, none of them is seeking judicial remedy.
You may let the report. You may let the petitions, please. The petitions are referred to Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions to report back within 4 weeks. Any more petitions? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the first business of the day is the presentation of an executive bill standing in my name on the Appropriation Act 2020. President, I wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill. Mr. President, thank you.
Order. Senator Matthew and Senator Peter. Senator Matthew and Senator Peter, please. Address and Senator Pinford.
Leader.
Well, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions just presented the various petitions sent into the Senate by members of the public, and then the next item on the order paper is presentation of bills, and that is bills that will be read for the first time. And usually the leader of the Senate does that function. Well, earlier the deputy leader of the Senate, Senator Ajayi Borofis, who is standing in for the Senate leader, Senator Abdullahi Yahya was about commencing the presentation.
Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I would like first to come on a motion.
The leader of the Senate, Senator Abdullahi Yahya, is now back to the chamber and assumed that responsibility.
The first item on the agenda, which is Appropriation Act 2020, may not need to come in because we did not receive any communication from the President, only communication from the Minister of Finance, on which we are now coming for a second reading. So that first reading should go. So I would like to move for amendment to the order paper by the expulsion of the first item of the agenda should go, and the second item on that agenda should be the first. So there are only four first readings that we should be taking. So with that, I move for suspension, for the amendment of the order paper and suspension of our order 44. I so move.
Minority Leader. Senator James Manager, you can go ahead. No, don't worry about him. He's coming home. Oh, okay, that's why he sits. Okay.
I rise to second the motion, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it.
Leader of the Senate. Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2020, SB 607, first reading.
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2020 SB 607 first reading taken.
Leader of the Senate. Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of distinguished Senator Saidu Ahmed Al-Kali on the Industrial Training Fund Act number 19 2011 Amendment Bill 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Industrial Training Fund Act number 19, 2011 Amendment Bill 2020, SB 608, first reading.
Industrial Training Fund Act number 19 2011 Amendment Bill 2020 SB 608 first reading taken.
On Student Financial Aid Scheme Establishment Bill 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Student Financial Aid Scheme Establishment Bill 2020, SB 609, first reading.
Students Financial Aid Scheme Establishment Bill 2020 SB 609 first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Nicholas Olubukola Tofuomo on the Federal School of Basic Studies Ile Oluji Establishment Bill 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Establishment Bill 2020, SB 611, first reading.
Federal School of Basic Studies Ile Oluji Establishment Bill 2020 SB 611 first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of the conference medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. Mr. President, due to the from the Minister of Finance yesterday, I would like to move a motion for us to repeal or suspend consideration of this particular paper because it will change the total amount that was in the budget that were made. And it has to be done, in concurrence with the Committee on Appropriation. So I would want to move a motion for this to step down consideration of this until tomorrow, the 17th of December 2020. I so move.
Minority Leader.
I rise to second the motion, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion moved by the leader that we suspend the consideration of the report of our Committee on Finance on MTF, FSP, say aye. Till tomorrow, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the seventh business of the day is the presentation of the report of the Committee on Appropriations on 2021 Appropriation Bill 2020. Mr. President, in line with my earlier argument on the MTF, I would also in line with the decisions that this chamber took during the executive session that we undertook today, I would like to step down consideration of this laying of this report to Monday, the 21st of, in a special session, to Monday, the 21st of December 2020, as agreed in the executive session that we undertook today in the morning. So I move that we step down consideration of this laying of this budget, until the day that has been prescribed. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the report be stepped down for a later day consideration. I so second.
Before I put the question, let me also make this point. Our Committee on Appropriation has been working so hard, working around the clock. We had planned to receive the report of our Committee on Appropriations today, but there was a late request for some more expenditures from the executive arm of government, and we want to ensure that our committee does work and produce a very clean document. So they can't present this report today. However, they said the report will be ready by weekend. Consequently, the Senate will hold a special session on Monday, the 16th, the 21st of December, just to consider and pass the budget 2021. This is in keeping with our legislative agenda of ensuring that the annual budget has a January to December cycle. We did that last year, and by the grace of God, we'll do it again. With this, let me put the question that those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senators will recall that the request was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 25th November 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Dauda Chika, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Halluru Dauda Chika, Doka Jimbauchi.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Halluru Dauda Chika, representing Bauchi Central.
Yes, on the confirmation of and the nomination of Chief Onyemuchi Namdi for appointment as member of the Police Service Commission. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I so move.
Yeah, Senator Betty Apiafi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Rivers West Senatorial District. I'm from Rivers State. Mr. President, I second the motion moved by the Chairman, Police Affairs, that the report on the screening of the presidential nominee be laid and approved, and I so second.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive the report of our Committee on Police Affairs, receive and consider the report of our Committee on Police Affairs, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You may let the report. Chairman, you may present the report.
Thank you, sir. I will go straight to the finding and observation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, at the end of the screening exercise, the committee deliberated extensively on the nominees' qualifications, capacity, suitability, competence, and integrity for the appointment as member of the Police Service Commission, and thereafter made the following findings and observations. That the nominee possesses the requisite legal requirement specified under the provision of Section 2, subsection A and B of the Police Service Commission Establishment Act 2001. There is no adverse or security report for the committee against the appointment of the nominee as a member of the Police Service Commission, as both the Department of State Services and the police report to the committee in respect of the nominee did not reveal any iota of crime or wrongdoing against him. That there is no any legal petition before the committee against the appointment of the nominee as a member of the Police Service Commission. That the committee has established both, in fact, an extant law that the nominee present by Mr. President for confirmation for appointment as member of the Police Service Commission have satisfied requisite legal requirement and is hereby affirmed to be fit and proper person for appointment as member of the Police Service Commission. Recommendations by the committee. Accordingly, the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, having thoroughly screened the named nominee and satisfied with his qualification, cognate experience, competence, and integrity, hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Chief Barrister Onyemuchi Namdi as member of the Police Service Commission representing Southeast Geopolitical Zone. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I thank you for your attention and opportunity to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Chukwuka Utazi, Enugu North.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Chukwuka Utazi. I represent the good people of Enugu North Central District of Enugu State. I rise to second the report, this acceptance of this report of the recommendations of this committee.
It's just for you to make your comments.
I want to say that Mr. Onyemuchi Namani, a former Secretary to State Government of Secretary to Government of Enugu State, very thorough party man. On the other side, you know, has worked very hard and seriously for this recognition by his party, the APC. And we, people from Enugu State, are very happy for this recognition. For us, it was overdue. But now that he's here, we are happy for him. And we know, with the kind of experience he has garnered over time, that he's going to perform very well on this position. He's a square peg in a square hole, Mr. President. I also want to point out that the name here have been corrected. Nnamdi, not Nnamdi. Is a mistake, typographical error. Is Onyemuche, Barrister, Chief Barrister Onyemuche Nnamani. You know the Justice Nnamani of the Supreme Court is from his family. Is somebody from a very good home that this country will be very proud.
Is it Nnamani or Namdi? Not Namdi. Thank you. The Chief Whip.
Mr. President, my name is Oji Ozokalo. I want to support the report of the Committee on Police Affairs because Onyemuche Nnamani is a full member and a participatory member of APC and a great supporter of this party in the Southeast. I will urge my colleagues to support in confirming him this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President.
Leader of the Senate, can we resolve to committee of the whole?
Mr. President, my highly distinguished colleagues, I rise to move the motion for the Senate to resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolve into a Committee of Whole for an approval on this report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report of our Committee on Police Affairs, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, we'll do approval now. Okay, comments.
Mr. Chairman, sir, my highly respected colleagues, this appears to be a very popular nomination. We said it's a nomination, which is a very serious matter. Bipartisan, PDP supporting, APC supporting, so we are all supporting this nomination. The President has done very well. My only concern, Mr. Chairman, is that looking at the report that is before us, chairmen of different committees must be encouraged to answer, because once this is passed, it becomes public document. Let the chairman direct the clerk of different committees to ensure that the documents that are coming, the reports that are coming, are signed by at least a greater majority of the senators. Greater majority of the senators. You can reach the senators wherever they may be. This one, it appears, although majority signed, but it's a slim majority, which is not good enough. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity.
Elder. Chairman, and this is like advice not only for the Committee on Police Affairs, but generally our documents, when those who are supposed to sign are not available, we should send either the document with the signature page, or we can send the signature page for our colleagues to append their signatures. Thank you very much for the advice. Well, distinguished colleagues, we do approval now. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Chief Onyemuche Nnamani for appointment as a member of the Police Service Commission? Those in favor will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Leader of the Senate. Mr. President, I rise to move the motion for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Your mic is not on.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion that the Senate revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate returns to plenary for the child to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as member of the Police Service Commission and approved the nomination of Chief Onemuche Nnamani as member of the Police Service Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Clerk, you need to correct this thing because it's still, yours is still reading Namdi. You need to correct it. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Chief Onemuche Nnamani for appointment as a member of the Police Service Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Congratulations to Chief Nnamani, who is a very good product of the APC, loved by PDP. And I want to thank Senator Chukwuka Utazi for being very generous, for showing patriotism over anything else. And this is the way to go. We have done that for you for 16 years in the past. Congratulations. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on the confirmation of the nominations of the following persons as listed in the order paper for appointment as chairman and members of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Tribunal. And Mr. President, they are as follows. Number one, Mrs. Sadatu Mama Shafi, Chairman, North Central. Number two, George Chukuma Umbonu, Member, Southeast. Barrister Thomas Is Okosun, Member, South-South. Number four, Dr. Umar Dauda Duhu, Member, Northeast. Number five, Mr. Ibrahim El Yakubu, Member, Northwest. Number six, Mr. Shola Selako Ajulo, Mrs. Member, Southwest. Number seven, Kenneth Tesu Giado, North Central. Mr. President, distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 24th November 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Adenikpa Fadahunsi, and in his absence, he is to be represented by distinguished Senator Tolu Odebi to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of this report.
Senator Tolu Odebi.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Tolu Odebi, representing Ogun West.
Senator Kudu, please allow Senator Sumata Demi to resume his seat.
Sorry, Mr. President, I rise to present to the Senate today the report to receive and consider the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on the confirmation of the nominations of the following persons for appointment as chairman and members of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Tribunal. This is Sharifatu Mama Shafil, Chairman, North Central. Mr. George Chukuma Mbonu, Member, Southeast. Barrister Thomas E. Okosun, Member, South-South. Dr. Umar Dauda Duhu, Member, Northeast. Mr. Ibrahim El Yakub, Member, Northwest. Shola Salako Ajulo, Mrs. Member, Southwest. And Kenneth Toso Gadu, North Central. Mr. I so move.
Thank you very much. Distinguished Senator Christopher Stephen Ekpeyon, you may second the motion moved by Senator Tolu Odebi that will receive and consider the report of the committee.
Don't sleep.
It's life.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues.
Take the other side.
I rise to second the motion ably moved by my distinguished colleagues that the report on the Senate Committee on Trade and Investment on the screening of chairmen and members of the Federal Committee, Competition and Consumer Protection